for this?
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Daily. Broadcasting statewide from Kununurra in the north to Esperance in the south. We look forward to having your company for the next 3.5 hours. The Sports Daily is hosted from the studios of Tab Radio at 14 Hasler Road, Osborne Park. News, views, interviews. We will have it covered on the Sports Daily.
You around the way, so you ready for this? Mind your own biz, 'cause I am back, yeah, the microphone biz. Need to say, got a stool in the pit. Ready for this.
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Daily on this Wednesday morning, the 22nd of October. It's Harley Cortland with you, and sitting across the desk from me is Digby Beecham. Diggers, good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, TC. Listeners, great to be here on this Wednesday.
What do we know?
We know it is Geelong Cup Day, but we know the weather forecast yesterday was extreme, to put it mildly, and we've just had a look at the radar. There's a bit of stuff coming through on social media. It is copping a drenching and some wild weather going through Geelong at the moment. As silly as it sounds, it might be a bit of a blessing because this was meant to be getting there in the afternoon, and they'd put in place some measures to protect those who are on course for Geelong Cup Day. The meeting is going to proceed. I think they were removing some of the umbrellas and the like because of all the forecast of strong winds.
They wouldn't have had to. Would have been blown away.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, hopefully this front that seems to be going through Geelong at the moment does indeed get through, and we can get that meeting underway on time.
Well, we need to, because unfortunately we lost the Victorian meeting there yesterday from Kyneton. That was abandoned after from all reports, had been pretty good weather over there in Melbourne, so that was a little bit of a shock and a little bit disappointing. But clearly the Bureau, in discussions with Racing Victoria, they were looking ahead to today, and they could see that this front was coming pretty early because the Racing Victoria Twitter page, they did put out the Bureau of Meteorology and consultation, and also with emergency services regarding the weather forecast. RV and the Geelong can advise that the Geelong Cup Day will proceed as planned tomorrow. So that was late yesterday. So this sort of weather pattern and this timing seemed to have been expected. Hopefully it doesn't do any damage to the track, though, because judging by the radar, there's a heap of rain.
Yeah, exactly right. They're getting a good drinking at the moment, and that will continue for a little while looking at the radar.
All right, have you been able to dive a little bit deeper into the Cox Plate yet?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting race because straight away you think, Via Sistina, we had Brent Zarafa on yesterday and he was quite effusive, wasn't he, in regards to how she looked yesterday at breakfast with the best. But I was just talking to you off air and I just posed the question, can Antino win a Cox Plate? He looks like he's tracking the right way, doesn't he?
He does. He does, absolutely.
She knows the horse well.
Yep, 2,000 metres last start, Wait for Age beat home, Via Sistina.
Yep.
And I think it'll be interesting, especially tomorrow morning, to chat to Jules Valance, because at the moment, just looking at the race, now it's a Cox Plate, so you wouldn't expect it to be muddlingly run. But if it was, you wouldn't be shocked because there's, especially if Globe comes out, where there's no leader.
That's exactly right. There's a lack of speed.
One of the 3-year-olds with a lightweight might go forward and chance their hand, but they've never done that before, so you don't know what you're going to get.
No, exactly right. But Antino, that most recent run was brilliant. It was really good, brave. He didn't have any luck in the run, and Craig Williams was able to give his mount the perfect steer. But I think Antino's going along in the manner that Tony Gollan would like him to be.
Well, we'll be able to confirm that on the Sports Daily this morning. Tony Gollan will join us just before 7:30. Between 7 and 7:30, Michael Hawkes and Tony Gollan. So we'll get to talk about nepotism as well with Michael Hawkes and, of course, Federalist. Ever since that last start run, we've been waiting to see where he'd pop up. He was smashing the line, and his next assignment's a Group 1 assignment.
Exactly right. So an important race for him going forward, but he looks like he's going to be awfully competitive in that affair, given what he did at his most recent outing.
Absolutely. That comes after our tipsters, Glenn Ingram, Chris Nelson and Brad Davidson. Shayne Williams from 6.35. 2 out of 3 last night for Shayne. He tipped one, when he tipped it to us in the morning, it was $4. I think it jumped about $2.70. So he was able to get us a nice winner there last night at Mandurah. Michael Browell from the Moonee Valley Race Club. Of course, we've been speaking about it all week. The last time we'll get to see a Cox Plate at the Moonee Valley as we know it. Neville Parnham will also join us after 7:30, and then special guest on the preview, Shaun O'Donnell with yourself, Macca and Scotty, to take a look at that meeting there today at Belmont with a couple of nice types going around, you'd say?
I think so, yeah. We're seeing that, aren't we?
A theme for midweek racing for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and that's probably not just isolated here in WA. We see it in Sydney, we see it in Victoria as well, but certainly be it a Wednesday midweek or even a Thursday provincial, you look at the meetings, you go, okay, there's one or two here who are going to be quite progressive.
Absolutely. We'll hopefully find all the winners there after 8 o'clock on the preview. All that and more to come up on the Sports Daily this morning. As always, the Retrovision text line to have your say, 0427 789 571.
Maytag Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Tyler Cortland and Digby Beecham with you. Of course, plenty of basketball to talk about throughout the show, Diggers. Of course, The Wildcats are in action tonight, and then this morning the NBA tips off 7:30. The Houston Rockets take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then a little bit later on, 10 a.m. this morning, the Golden State Warriors head to LA to take on the Lakers. Rockets 310, Thunder $1.38, Warriors 170, Lakers 218. Rockets Thunder, the line's 6.5, and the Warriors Lakers, the line's at 3.
Line's at 3 there, is it?
Line's at 3.
Okay. So this is the first night of, 7 months of NBA action, effectively? Roughly that. It's a long season. Is it 82 games? Is that right? 82?
Yeah,
something like that.
so.
Then the postseason and the like. So, yep, plenty of basketball ahead of us, and it gets underway from 7:30 WA time.
Yep, so the Rockets Thunder, you'd think that'd be up and back. That might be a game for the overs. And then I thought the Lakers should be close to favourites. I know LeBron's not playing, but they've still got Luka Doncic and still got a pretty good team, Austin Reeves.
Yes.
The Warriors, they'll be in and around the place this year, you'd think. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, still be Steph Curry.
Oh, yes. Very
outside of that, I don't think they have a lot of weapons, but the Lakers should be able to hold their own in that match.
Yeah, absolutely they should. Absolutely they should. It'll be interesting to see how Luka Doncic goes first full season at the Lakers, and you look at him now as opposed to the Luka Doncic who arrived mid to late last campaign. He just looks... It's quite remarkable, the transformation in his body shape, let's put it that way. He was a big man, we always spoke about it. Could he defend? Did he want to defend? Was his body... He played the game of basketball at basically his pace, didn't he? Mm-hmm. You know, where now he's expected to get up and down the floor, and he looks like a streamlined elite NBA athlete now.
Yep, absolutely. So he'd be in the top handful for the MVP discussion nice and early into the season. You'd think the Cairns Taipans at 2.04, the Perth Wildcats are $1.77 with Tab Touch. Line's at 1.5. I'm not too sure you'd be overly keen to bet into this match.
Oh, I think they're a watch. They're a watch tonight. You
don't really want to be back in Cairns, though, do you?
No, you don't. I must admit, as much as we say have a bet, gamble responsibly, I'd be just sitting back and having a look at this game, I think. It's not one I'd be tipping into on a wagering side of things.
172.5, the over-under.
Yeah. Well, Cairns have had some games where they just cannot get it in the hole.
No.
They cannot get it in the hole.
Perth are coming off a 72-point performance.
Yeah. And you're still missing a guard, Windler. Like, where are they at offensively? Have they got enough oomph to trouble Cairns, or can Cairns score enough to take down the Wildcats at home? So, yeah, I think there's more questions than answers there in that respect.
Absolutely, we'll break that down tomorrow. Of course, we spoke yesterday about the state of origin. Chris Scott and Dean Cox. Dean Cox faced the media, and that's the first time he's spoken since the Sydney Swans acquired Charlie Curnow in the trade period. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, they're always tough. I think one thing that, we always said, I said when I got to the football club, is I'll always put the club first. And that's something they'll always continue to do. We need to improve in certain areas of our game, and ahead of the ball is one of those. So that was the option. The players, a lot of players are really close with those two boys, and so they should be because they're great people. They were tough, and people will adjust at certain time frames, and we'll support them all the way through it. But overall, they understand the nature of why we're doing it.
How ready are you for a premiership tilt now that you have Charlie Curnow?
I think, we just need to add, as we were saying throughout the year, add as much talent as we possibly can to the list and in areas that we need it. So not only Charlie, we've sort of done it with Malcolm, some real speed ahead of the ball, and obviously Jai behind the ball to really, had a fantastic season, even though he's played a lot of it at VFL. So, we targeted 3 players and got the 3 players we wanted.
There's Dean Cox, of course, unveiled as the WA coach for the State of Origin on February 14 here at Optus Stadium. I think he was going to say another word that started with F there at one stage, but he was able to pull himself in and said far out.
Far out. I think Coxie, knowing him as we all do, I think he was going to say, far out. But then he pulled it back. You're right, TC. He said far out instead of something else that ends with a K. Look, that's going to be the narrative, isn't it? He's at his first press conference post the acquisition of Charlie Curnow. He's been posed it, and it'll continue to come throughout summer and throughout the course of the home and away campaign. But getting back to that press conference yesterday, it's look, he spoke well. He didn't get an opportunity to play State of Origin football, I don't think, Dean, because it might have ended in 1999 and he was still sort of forging his way with West Coast at that time. So, look, he's got an opportunity, along with Chris Scott and the players. That's the thing, isn't it? It's over to this current crop of players and coaches and people. You asked for it. We've given you the opportunity. Now support it. And if you do support it, it might have a pulse. If you don't, in time, it will just go and it won't come back. So it's now up to, as I said, it's now up to those who have pushed really hard for it to get there and treat it with the respect it deserves, the concept.
Yep, absolutely. He spoke about the NRL in that press conference as well and how they make that the showpiece of their season, basically. It's almost as big as a grand final, if not bigger.
Oh, it's
State
huge.
of Origin.
Yep.
And the NRL, so he's hoping to get to that level. Whether or not that's the case in the AFL, I struggle to see it getting to that sort of level, but hopefully it is competitive enough. There is a premiership market up, Diggs, with Tab Touch.
Of course there is.
Sydney are on the 6th line of betting.
6th line of betting.
So just take the actual odds out of play. If you were to sort of think about premiership chances,
yes,
they'd be higher than 6th, wouldn't they? With that list, they're able to go to Brisbane late in the year, beat Brisbane.
Yeah, so you lose Florida.
You almost just put a line through last year.
Well, that's it. Like, you've still got your key cogs forward of the ball, haven't you? I mean, in the midfield, which can supply a forward line.
Well, now with Charlie Curnow up forward, Isaac Heaney doesn't have to play as much time up forward.
Yeah.
You can use him around the ball a lot more.
Yes. So you got Heaney, Gould and Warner. So it's a great start point.
Yep. Lose Haywood.
And Florence. Still got Rowbottom, who can play in and around that role.
Sheldrick got better last year.
Sheldrick got really good. Yeah, I agree with that. So he looks like he's ready to take the next step. And had he not done what he'd done in the second half of the season, they might have been loath to let Ollie Florent go. But I think they see Angus Sheldrick and they see the trajectory that hopefully he is on, and he can supplement, that already, or complement, that already deep midfield. Getting back to your original question, I would think, well, we said with Curnow they become a top 4 contender.
Yeah. All right, so the teams above them, are Sydney a better chance at the moment than Brisbane?
No.
Geelong?
No.
Hawthorn?
No.
Gold Coast?
Yes.
Adelaide?
Borderline. Same. Depends if Archie gets there. I think he will.
I'd say they're a better chance than Adelaide, personally.
All right. I think they're better. Where are Collingwood in that market?
No.
Because I thought they would be.
So below Sydney, Fremantle, GWS, Collingwood.
Yeah. No, they're 4 to 6. They're a top. They can finish 4th, 5th, or 6th next season.
Yeah.
But things would have to go right. But if Curnow can have the impact that they obviously think he will, look out. They have some potency forward of the ball, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And also fronting the media yesterday, Steve Smith, of course, it looks like at this stage, hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but he's probably going to be captaining Australia for the first test over here in Perth late next month. I think we're just under a month away now, but he fronted the media yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Pat's still got a few things that he can tick off. Obviously, he said I think he's unlikely for that first test, but you never know. He's a healer. He gets well quickly, so he's got a few things to tick off. But you know, I've stood in a couple of times over the last few years. I think since Pat started, I've done 6 games maybe, so it's nothing out of the ordinary. You know, I know how the team operates. We're in a good place, so no, if it happens, I'll look forward to it.
All right, so they're trying to sort of keep it open-ended, but it sounds like Pat Cummins is very, very unlikely to be playing the first test, and then maybe even the second test he might be up against it to get there. But Steve Smith, you'd probably say he'd have one of the great test records as captain if he hadn't have done what he did over there in South Africa.
Yeah, exactly right. A while ago now, all the way back, now. 2018.
He'd still be captain.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt at all. And his record as skipper is exceptional, and you only have to look at the numbers that he produces when he is the main man within the Australian cricket side at national level. To be fair, I thought he was in all sorts probably, as I think a lot of people did probably 12, 18 months ago. Thought, well, where are you going? How are you travelling? Well, he's responded in style, and now that he gets that added responsibility, look for him to torment the English like he has done on many an occasion.
He's going to be the one that needs to hold that batting lineup together, isn't he?
Well, yes, because there's
going to be a fair bit of pressure on Usman too, because it depends on that other opener, and it looks like it's going to be Marnus. Are we expecting a lot out of Marnus?
I think so. Yeah, you can. With his record, and the form that he's in, and you should be expecting a fair bit out of Marnus, because Marnus now should be entering his prime, and he's had some hurdles, and we know that he was omitted for that 3-test series in the Caribbean mid-year after not making any runs in the World Test Championship final. So, but in terms of history says batsmen in their 30s, early 30s, that's when they should be just at the peak of their powers and understanding their game. Marnus seems to be a little bit muddled, so hopefully he can translate that form, which we have seen at first-class level with Queensland and also in the One Day Cup, into that test side, provided he gets another opportunity.
All right, so with the Ashes at the moment, $1.65 Australia, the draw's at $8 and England at $3.
Australia will be winning the Ashes, retaining the Ashes at home. Yes.
Winning?
Yeah, they'll win the series.
Would you say 3-1 last week or the week before?
Yeah, something like that. England will win a test, weather permitting, but Australia at home should be winning.
All right,
I'd be surprised if they were tossed over by England here.
All right. Even with the batting lineup as it is?
Yeah, I still think there's enough class. If, like, Khawaja at home, Labuschagne, they all, both average in excess of 40. Smith averages in excess of 50. Webster's been okay. Head's in really good nick. So, and then you got Green. So actually, batting lineup's pretty good.
All right. The English batsmen are going okay, but they need to do it out here in Australia. To be fair, all right, we'll head out to a break here on the Sports Daily, come back and let you know what's coming up. And, of course, we might take a look at the Belgravia on Saturday. The nominations dropped there late yesterday afternoon, and it looks like an absolute cracking edition of the Belgravia Saturday at Ascot.
Wave Tab Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Tyler Cortland and Digby Beecham with you on this Wednesday morning. And, of course, you are taking on Scott Embry. His best bet diggers race 6, number 2.
Pure Obsession.
At Belmont today. So take him on. Your chance to go into the draw for a $100 Tab Touch voucher. We're about to try and find a couple of winners on this Wednesday. We are, at this stage, still racing at Geelong anyway. The weather's been cyclonic there for Geelong Cup Day. But, of course, a win and you are in. Race for the Melbourne Cup. 205 Gilded Water at the moment. Whiskey on the Hill at $6. One Smooth Operator at $7. I think looking at the blog, we're about to speak to Glenn Ingram, but I think he's with something at a little bit of value at $12 currently. Torrenzino
is Glenn's on topper.
I believe so.
All right, okay.
Coming out of the bar, Cummings will also catch up with Chris Nelson and also Brad Davidson. On the Retrovision text line, there was one here. Morning, men. This is from Elko. Big congratulations to Jesse Arenschel. I don't usually play the dogs, but listening to him on drive yesterday, Arvo, I thought, why not? Backed his first one on the nose, second one each way, and then the last 3 into a win multi. Very nice little top-up for the coming days. Well done, Jesse.
Well done. Excellent. Thank you for the message.
Training a few winners around the place.
Doing a good job. Doing a really good job, Jesse.
Snoz boys, you are dreaming if you think State of Origin in the AFL will be as big as NRL. Reasons why? Time of year, temperature and clubs withholding players back long-term contracts.
I don't think we said it would be, Snoz, to be fair. I'm not having a go at you, but I can't recall us saying it is going to be as big as the NRL version. I'm of the view that it might not have the same intensity that a regular season game will have, even though it is State of Origin and there's going to be a lot of eager players. Others might have a differing view, but no, the tribal nature of rugby league State of Origin is unsurpassed. It cannot be matched. You know, you could argue, you speak to some players, they're actually more excited at playing for their state than they are for their country in rugby league. That goes to show you how important State of Origin is to the rugby league community.
Yep, absolutely. Rusty Gates has got in touch as well, and pretty much the same sentiments. It's quite obvious that the State of Origin game before the 26 AFL season is only going to be an exhibition game because the best players from all over the AFL teams will not be playing because the club will say they have a niggling injury and need to be rested. Dean Cox's interview yesterday when he said the club always comes first to me just reinforces my prediction.
I'm not entirely in that corner. I think if a senior player goes to a club and says, I want to play, he'll be given permission. They won't. Like Patrick Cripps is in the twilight of his career. He's critically important to Carlton. He's already said, no, I'm playing. So good luck, Michael Voss and the Carlton Football Club stopping Patrick from playing. Now, there might be a different attitude, point of view, approach, call it what you will, from other clubs. But I think if the players are steadfast in playing, you're not going to be able to stop them. But how much support will you give the concept? I think they're two different things.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, I'm sure that'll garner a lot of discussion throughout the show, but we'll take a look at this 9-race program now at Geelong. Glenn Ingram joins us on the Sports Daily. Glenn, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, gents. Great to be with you. We've got a wild and woolly day here in Melbourne, particularly down at Geelong. I'm about 20 minutes away from the course, and it's been hosing down here for the last half an hour. The wind isn't up as yet, but we've got ridiculous winds projected. So, hold on to your hats. Expect the unexpected.
Okay, Glenn. So what at the moment you're just getting a heap of rain, and then what the wind is going to follow the rain, is it?
That sounds like what's expected.
Right.
We're getting a lot of showers tonight. It's on a soft 5. I would say we're already on a 6, but we'll wait for confirmation.
Okay.
All right. So Tab Touch tickets does say a good 4, so soft 6 at the moment. Best bet, Glenn?
Comes up in the last, Flying Valley. We're actually rain dancing at the moment. We're looking forward to plenty of rain for this horse. He's going to be very hard to beat. He comes out of probably career best form at the moment. I think he's superbly placed down in grade. If he gets those wet track conditions, he's going to be very hard to beat. He's always promised a lot, and he's just starting to deliver now. And he finds a good race, good draw, and track conditions to suit.
Okay. Any other suggested bets on what promises to be a challenging day, Glenn?
Yeah, it sure does. If the track stays in the soft range, we'll just see how the track's playing. But I thought Torrenzino was excellent value in the Geelong Cup. I think he's ready to peak. I was following him through the jump-out stage, guys, and he looked tremendous there. He looked like he was in for a huge preparation. His runs have just been plain to date until last start. He really hit the line when he got that fast speed at Flemington. But he's a tricky trainer, Paul Prisker. He sets his horses for certain races, and I've got no doubt he's got this horse ready to peak today, and I think he's good value at around that $13.
All right, currently with Tab Touch at $12. Are they just the two? Are we ready to get into the quaddie?
I think, yeah. Yep. We'll stick with those two.
Beautiful. All right, the first leg of the quaddie is race 6. It's a benchmark 70 over the 1700.
Yeah, shiny new deal I've got on top after the scratching there this morning. Comes into this race fit and firing. He's expertly placed by a very good trainer, Gavin Bedgegood. He's a key speed influence and a key winning chance. He hasn't always raced closer to the speed, but he certainly has this preparation, and it's resulted in some good performances. So he'll handle the wet, and he can find the best part of the track. Emphasise is a really talented horse. He's fallen off a cliff, really, with his form this season, or last season. His 3-year-old season was fantastic. His recent effort was most encouraging, and I think he's really capable at this level. So he's about $9. and I wouldn't rule him out. I think if he can find some of his early career form, he's in the mix. The Muffin Man has promised more than he's delivered. He's got the blinkers back on here. He switched from the Littlefield stable to Shayne Jackson, and Shayne Jackson's doing a good job. I can see this horse improving second up today. And Sevilla comes here fit, good form, dominant win against the fillies and mares at Mornington, and has won on a soft track previously. So I've got 1, 3, 4 and 5 in the quaddie.
All right, the second leg of the quaddie, Glen, race number 7, of course, is the Geelong Cup. You've made a case for Torrenzino. What other numbers do we put in the Cup?
Yeah, you certainly can't leave out the favourite. I'm not potting the favourite. It was a dominant win at Caulfield and then was off the map in the betting at Flemington. Went really hard out in front, faded in the straight, did a pretty good job to stick on. It's just, do you want to take a short price about a horse that potentially hasn't come through after a really tough run like that? I certainly don't. They've put a Norton bit on the horse to correct his steering issues. But you're just going to be crossing your fingers and toes and hoping that he's come through that run okay. Whiskey on the Hill was luckless in the Herbert Power. That was a slowly run race. I don't know if that's the right race to be coming into this, but he's certainly in form. And Berkeley Square's due a change of luck. He's got a better draw. I've gone with 2, 4, 5 and 7 in that league.
All right, the third leg of the quaddie, a benchmark 84, 6 furlong event at 145. Glenn will proceed without numbers 1, 5, 7 and 9.
Yeah, I think there's 3 good chances. I'm banking on horses getting off the fence, getting towards this later part of the day, which should aid the chances of Persian Spirit. He comes through that key form reference at Flemington. He was an impressive first-up winner, then was disadvantaged by the slow tempo last start. He's a very genuine horse. He's got a big finish, and he'll find the right part of the track coming down the middle. Stolly Bolly is the short price favourite. He's bursting to win. I think with even luck, he's in the finish. The inside draw is just a big query come this time of the day. But certainly if it is the place to be, I think the market will really come for this horse and start a commanding favourite. Spione is the one at odds. I think we've got to put in this leg. He's still relatively unexposed. He's got a fair bit of potential. I know the stable like him. The recent jump out suggests he can run a race first up. And at about that $9, he's certainly one to consider. My numbers are 6, 12 and 13.
All right, race number 9, the final event on the program. We can take out the emergencies, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Jenny the Fox, $2.70 favourite.
Yeah, I think we can play this leg really simple. There's only 2 winning chances to my eye. And if it's a soft 6 or worse, Flying Valley is superbly placed here. He's down in grade. He gets the track conditions to suit, hopefully. He's a very promising horse early in his career. He's just starting to reach his level now. He'll settle midfield. He can go forward. He might have to sit a little bit wide, but I don't mind that at the 1,500. And he'll find the best part of the track. I really like him at the 1,500 here. I think he can win, and I made him the best on the card. Jenny the Fox will appreciate this easier assignment. She's been contesting Stakes Company the past 2. She brings those outstanding form lines, and they're the right form lines to be winning. For me, I'm just not sure how hard she's attacking the line right now. Blake Sheehan, wide draw, both ticks. The wet track is a complete unknown. So I think you can play it pretty simple. If it's wet, we back Flying Valley. If it's dry or if it's softish, you'll have to include both, 5 and 11.
All right, 5 and 11 to round out the quaddie legs there for Glenn at Geelong on Cup Day. We are on Weather Watch, Glenn. We'll monitor that very closely. Hopefully everyone stays safe and we get through this meeting unscathed.
Absolutely. Have a good day, gents.
There's Glen Ingram. Thank you very much, Glenn, for that. So he's best in the last there, race 9, number 5, Flying Valley at around $5.52 with Tab Touch. And the value, race 7, number 4, Torrenzino in the Cup comes through that form reference. I think we touched on it there yesterday behind Valiant King, who was awesome in a Caulfield Cup on the weekend. All right, we'll be heading to Queensland. This man to give us all the winners.
The Sports Daily presents Chris Nelson with his look at Queensland racing.
Racing today from Eagle Farm. 7 races on the program. The first local time gets underway at 11:30. We'll catch up with Chris Nelson very, very shortly. He's ready to go now. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Taylor. Good morning, Digby.
How are you, Chris?
No complaints. Everything's going pretty well up here. With a bit of rain, but other than that, pretty good.
Still dry. Is that what you're telling us?
Still very, very dry. I don't think we had a little bit of rain on Sunday night, I think it was. No, Saturday night when they called off Eagle Farm due to the lightning. There was a bit of a shower, but that's it. That's I reckon all we've had in about 2 months, if we're lucky. So There you go.
All right.
So I've had to put water in the pool, guys. No good.
just wait a month and you have to be emptying it every couple of days.
Exactly. That's the thing. You're either taking it out and you don't really, you're wasting it away, and the next thing you know, you're paying money to put it in. No. Can't win.
First world problems, Chris.
I know.
Now, your suggested bets, please.
Yeah, just a couple at Eagle Farm today. Now, you note the track this morning has been posted a sock 5. That's due to 6 mils of irrigation yesterday, but I can assure you that'll soon be a good 4. Race 1, horse number 8, Wiley Jack. He's one that caught my eye at Doomben going back to the 17th of September. He was going around, in a maiden there over 1,200 metres. I like the way he finished off. He was beaten 6 lengths, but he did make good ground from the back of the field. He then showed up at the Gold Coast. He also got a long way back there, ran on strongly end of 1,400 metres. So now he gets to 1,600 metres. CJ Graham will ride for Kelly Schweida. They are a lethal combination at times. I think he's well suited here. Number 8, Wiley Jack. So I'm going to make him the first of 2 bets today. Race 1, number 8.
All right, where's the next one?
Race 5 at a bit of value here. Number 1, Cantilda's Love. He's only had 6 starts. He's won 2 of them. One of those was first up this campaign at the Sunshine Coast. He got home over the top of Extreme Spirit there. That was 1,200. Then he went to 1,350, and I spotted him making some really good ground late behind He-Man in a Saturday grade race. He was $71 on that occasion. Here he is back to a Class 2 plate. He gets 3 kilos off for Toby Bittler, and he gets to 1,600 metres, and that's going to suit him down to the ground. So there's one here at a very short price, and that is Pharaoh's Prophecy, number 5. I would much rather have something each way. Cantilda's Love at double-figure odds. Race 5, number 1.
All right. I like it, Chris. You're taking on 2 odds-on favourites there today in races 1 and 5.
What could go wrong?
1 and 5 at Eagle Farm. You'll get some feedback. Nothing surer, but I like it. It's good. It's bold.
Yep.
Now, your quaddie numbers, please. We have the pens at the ready.
All right. First leg, 1, 2, 3 and 8. Second leg, 1, 5 and 3. Third leg, 1, 4, 7 and 3. And the final leg, 10, 6, 17 and 5.
10, 6, 17 and 5 to round it out. So 1, 2, 3, 8, 1, 5, 3, 1, 4, 7, 3, rounding it out with 10, 6, 17 and 5. Chris, what did you make of Ka Ying Rising's win in the Everest?
Well, as I mentioned on Friday, guys, it panned out exactly as the map suggested. He just got that lovely run in behind the 2 leaders there and looked to be travelling well before this. I mean, he did hit a bit of a flat spot, I thought, early in the straight. Could go either way, but he soon picked up and he was too strong for them on the line. Very, very impressive win, I thought. He may not have been at his best, but he was still far too good for our local horses. They didn't go that hard. Didn't go as hard as I thought they'd go, and that probably helped him as well. But very exciting race.
Yes, absolutely. Chow Wolf too, back to his best.
Well, as I said to the boys on Sunday in the aftermath, 1,600 metres, he kept running over 1,600 metres, and I thought, when is Joe Pride going to pump him up to the 2,000? Is it the Cox Plate, or what's he doing with this horse? Of course, he puts the blinkers on for the first time, sharpens him up, and he stays at 1,600 metres, and it's too good. So that was a masterstroke, wasn't it?
Certainly was. He's got an excellent handle on that horse, hasn't he, Joe? And when he does put the headgear on, he invariably gets a spike, and that's what he wanted, and that's what he got. So Chow Wolf, back-to-back winners of the King Charles. It's great to see.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget half yours too, guys, after winning the Caloundra Cup up here in July. So that's a great advertisement for the Caloundra Cup with the half yours winning the Caulfield and maybe even the Melbourne. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly right. Do you think he can?
Well, on what he's shown so far, I don't see any reason why he can't. He's certainly going along well enough. He's got a couple of kilos penalty. Is that right? I think I read the other day.
Yes, he did. 2 kilos. Yep.
Yeah. Well, he'd have to be the one to beat. He's doing absolutely nothing wrong.
All right. We'll talk to you about that in coming weeks, and we'll chat and try and find a couple of winners on Friday for Saturday. We'll chat then, Chris.
Look forward to it, guys. Have a good day.
There's Chris Nelson taking a look at Eagle Farm. So best race 1, number 8, Wiley Jack, $3.40. And then one at nice each way odds, race 5, number 1, Cantilda's Love at $15 with Tap Touch. They're at Eagle Farm. So take note, Tap Touch does say if you log on to the app, a soft 5, but that will be a good 4 in no time. A little bit of irrigation there, no rain up there in Queensland at the moment. A little bit different to what's going on there at Geelong.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and yeah, well, that's what you get with the contrast, don't you? But like New South Wales had to push the meeting back because of this weather.
Yeah, what's going on there? Warwick Farm, racing today. We'll check in with Brad Davidson.
Yeah.
It might be too hot for Brad. How are you, Brad?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good to be with you again. Yeah, it's very, well, saying that, it's not warm this morning. I got up and always had to put the jumper on, but I'm sure it'll be warm this afternoon. So, yeah, a bit of cloud cover this morning, keeping it cool, but, yeah, expect it to warm up as the day gets. And I think I heard on the radio on the way in, it could get to 41, 42 out there at Warwick Farm. So,
Okay.
yeah, 39 elsewhere, but Warwick Farm's sort of one of the hottest parts of Sydney. So, yeah, so keep that in mind today. But Rail True should be a fast track with that warm weather.
Yep. So 12:25 start time, WA time, Diggers for Warwick Farm meeting.
12:25 push back. So taking some steps to try to avoid this scorching heat that they're expected in southwest Sydney. Now, Brad, do you have some suggested bets, please, before we get your quaddie?
We'll start in race 2, number 1, Frosty Girl. She resumes here. A horse that did a pretty good job in her first prep, winning both her races, beat Sanso on debut and then backed it up with a good win on the Kenzo track in benchmark 72 level. A couple of soft trials to get ready today, and James McDonald will be keen to get back into a bit of form. He's been very quiet the last sort of month or so, particularly on Saturday. So he'll be looking for a bit of confidence heading into sort of, I was going to say Derby week, but he's here for Golden Eagle Day at Randwick next Saturday week, and then he'll head down, I'm sure. So race 2, number 1 to kick us off. And the other one for me, I was going to make it the value bet of the day, but unfortunately half the field was scratched this morning. So we're left with sort of the best bet for me, race 4, number 14, Full Howl. I thought the first up run was terrific from a wide draw, had to go back at 1,300, hit the line really hard. I think can be a lot closer from the draw today, and up to 1,600 with J Mac aboard looks to suit. So they were the two for me today.
All right, so you were keen to make Full Howl the best of the two?
Yes, I'll make Full Howl the best, just at the odds the best of the day for me at Warwick Farm.
All right, so quaddie kicks off in race number 4. How many other numbers are we adding in there?
We're adding in number 4, 5, 14 and 10 in the first leg, numbers 1 and 6 in the second leg, 2, 3, 6, 8 and 12 in the third leg, that's 2, 3, 6, 8 and 12, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 and 2, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 and 2 in the last leg. And if I was to give you one other today, Eagle Farm race 4, number 1, Mr. Buster, I thought looked hard to beat up there in Queensland as well.
All right, so that is Eagle Farm on a good track, and we are on a good surface out there at Warwick Farm. We had a good chat to Chris Nelson just prior, Brad, and we were talking about the Everest. Your takeaway?
Yeah, look, it was a terrific race. The Hong Kong horse was just too good, simple as that, guys. And, I think the rest had their chance. Jolly Star was a bit disappointing. Brie Arthur missed the jump, but too good, K-Ying Rising.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Brad, thank you very much for your time. We'll do it all again next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Cheers.
There's Brad Davidson, braddavidson.com.au. You can find all his tips and analysis throughout the week on most meetings that he finds a bet at there. So, race 2, number 1, $1.90, Warwick Farm for Brad. And race 4, number 4, is Best Full Howl at $3.30 with Tab Touch. That's to go along with the tips we read out for Chris. And then Glen Ingram there at Geelong, race 9, number 5, $5.50, Flying Valley. And race 7, number 4, Torrenzino at $12. Those markets with Tab Touch.
Okay, so those were our experts today, and the best at Belmont for Scotty Embry. You are taking him on the Retrovision text line. Race 6, number 2, Pure Obsession.
All right, $100 Tab Touch voucher up for grabs later in the week. We didn't touch on it off the top, Diggers, but a little bit of Champions League action overnight.
Yes, go
All
on.
this morning. Arsenal, they defeated Atletico Madrid 4-0.
Right. It's a spanking, isn't it, from the Premier League leaders?
They're flying at the moment. Other winners, Man City were successful. Dortmund were successful. PSG, they were down to 10 men. They played Leverkusen. They were down to 10 men as well. 7-2.
7-2.
That went overs.
It did go overs. What about Newcastle beating Benfica 3-0? So that's a good result.
Can't get warm in the Premier League at the moment, Newcastle.
No. Man City beating Villarreal 2-0 and Inter Milan successful 4-0. As you said, PSG dominant and Barcelona did a number on Olympiacos 6-1. So that is some Champions League scores from this morning.
All right, tomorrow morning Chelsea are in action. Real Madrid play Juventus. Tottenham are in action. They play Monaco, and then Liverpool are also in action. All of those games just mentioned at 3 a.m.
Okay.
WA time tomorrow morning. Out to the roads, back with Shayne Williams on the Sports Daily.
On the Sports Daily, the Shayne train's coming into the station. Here's Shayne Williams with his winners for tonight's WA Greyhound Racing.
Solo Man, how do you do?
Good morning. Meatloaf, they call me.
Yeah. I told you hard solo's not good.
Yeah, no, it's hard. I'll stick to the white tins.
Yeah. White cans for you going forward. No solo of the hard variety.
No.
You should...
You can only laugh.
Your next litter you get, you should name one white cans.
Yeah, I got a litter, actually, not far off.
How far?
I was only through. I think they're only about 7 months old, so they're probably like 7 months off being named or 8 months off being named. But
keep that in mind.
I won't be calling it hard solo, that's for sure. Or maybe the worst one out of the three.
The runt of the litter. This evening, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's late in the card again tonight. We'll kick it off. Race 7, number 1, Red Can King. Speaking of beverages, fresh off success in this race last week. That was from box 4, moves to box 1 where he's undefeated in 2 starts. Makes a very similar lineup here. And for the mango farmer, Eric Parnham, he can go back-to-back here. Race 7, number 1, Red Can King.
All right, $2.15 tab touch at the moment. Where's the next one?
Race 10, number 1, Speedy Deville. I get really scared tipping Graham Credley's dogs at the moment because he's not having the best of runs, but I don't think this one will really get a better opportunity to cash in. Last 2 runs have been full of merit, and she draws box 1 in what looks a very timid affair. Yet to win from box 1, but placed in 4 of 8. So from the cherry, I think she can jump lead and win over the 275-metre dash. 10-1 Speedy Deville.
Okay, and where do we go for the final one?
Yeah, the last race, boys. Race 12, number 5, Sunset Skylight. I was very impressed with her run last start at Mandurah. Absolutely speared the lids and led easily in a good race. Was run down late in that race, but there's a couple of key factors here. I think she comes back 25 metres in trip, which is a bonus. She has a good record here at the track and trip, and she's also coming back to a grade 5 after being up into the free-for-all ranks. So I think the middle draw, no concern if she can show that good early burn at the start. Hard to beat 12-5 Sunset Skylight to finish us off.
$2.60 with the tab touch. Would Red Can King be the best?
I'm going to make Sunset Skylight the best, so we have to wait again till the last. So have to again be patient, but hopefully this one can get the job done for us.
All right, race 12, number 5, the best to go with race 7, number 1, race 10, number 1. Shayne, thank you. Enjoy your Wednesday. Are you golfing today?
Yeah, we are. We've only got about, I think, two more weeks before we have our annual trip away down south, so we've got to get into a bit of form. But I wanted to ask you boys both a question. Quick one before I go. If you're sitting in a pub or a bar and I've got a dog in, do you watch it and support it, or?
Yes.
Well, that won't happen tonight, Diggers, because your dog's up against my dog, Cake in Tummy.
Oh.
So you'll be cheering the Cake home.
Don't you worry about the cake. It'll win.
It's gone.
You're an idiot.
How was your cake yesterday?
It's gone.
Yeah, but it was
brown
good.
bread. Yeah, it was real good.
All right, have a good night. We'll chat again tomorrow. See ya.
See you, boys.
Oh, dear. Shayne Williams on a Wednesday morning.
All right, Cox Plate.
Yes.
We're about to speak to the CEO of the Moonee Valley Racing Club, Michael Browell, on the Sports Daily over here in Perth. As we've spoken about all week, a really special Cox Plate, the 2025 edition, as we farewell Moonee Valley as we know it. Michael, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning.
How's preparations going for the Cox Plate this year?
Yeah, we're all set. We had the breakfast with the best out here for track work yesterday morning, which rolled into the barrier draw. We've ended up with a field of 9 horses for the 2025 Ladbrokes Cox Plate Carnival, and it should be a fitting finale as we draw the curtain on the iconic Valley Racetrack.
How has the build-up been, and what are the emotions ahead of the weekend, Michael?
Oh, the build-up's been interesting, particularly with the horses as you track their form through the Spring Carnival. As I said, we've got the 9 horses, but a couple of them have had some patchy form this spring, looking for Via Sistina to bounce back. It's her grand final. She galloped here Saturday and again Tuesday, so she looks like she's ready to go. But she's got some worthy challenges, particularly in the Queensland horse Antino. Treasure the Moment, she came back in great form and then had the colic attack and has been beaten twice since then. And disappointing to lose Gay Waterhouse's horse last Friday with the vet inspections, Cedelius. But we'll just focus on the horses that we've got. But with the build-up this year, as much as it is about the race, it's also about celebrating the great history of the club and the track. 142 years ago, racing commenced here at Moonee Valley, and it's about to undergo an incredible transformation as we come in on Monday and start the rebuild for what will be a spectacular new Valley racecourse.
Does it feel different for yourself personally, Michael, knowing what's to come Sunday and onwards?
It does feel different, but I've been in the CEO chair now for 17 years, and this whole redevelopment was my idea. So it's taken a long time to get to this point. There's been an incredible amount of work undertaken by the club. The race course, the Strathair track, it's 30 years old. We've got grandstands here that were built in the 1950s. We've got track lighting here. We can't buy a replacement globe anywhere in the country for it. So the track's at the end of its useful life, and with the redevelopment well underway, we've completed almost 500 apartments here since we kicked off the project in 2018, and there's another 1,500 to come once the grandstands come down.
So, Michael, what is the Moonee Valley track going to look like for those of our listeners who are a little bit uncertain?
Yeah, at the moment, I guess the characteristics of the track, you've got 2 long straights and 2 short straights. The home straight is one of the shortest home straights in the world at 173 metres. It's a saucer-type shape at the moment. The track's 1,805 metres in circumference. It'll end up being 100 metres shorter, so just over 1,700 metres when it's completed. But the home straight will go from 173 metres to 317 metres. We think it'll present a much better racing product here. We've managed to retain all of the key race distance starts, including the 2,040 metres for the WS Cox Plate. It'll be a spectacular racing venue. We think it'll be the best night racing venue in the world, but a key element of the redevelopment is to make sure that we open up the racecourse for the benefit of club members, the residents that are buying into our redevelopment, but also the broader local community. We'll make sure the infield's developed, and there'll be some incredible green space in there with recreation and sporting facilities to make sure it's activated 365 days of the year.
You mentioned it before, it's iconic, the Moonee Valley, and I know a lot of our listeners, Michael, would have been over there for some big races, and what makes it iconic is that atmosphere on race day. How cognizant has the club been to try and retain that type of amphitheatre feeling on race day during this redevelopment?
Yeah, critically important that it does retain those characteristics. It's an amphitheatre. The atmosphere's electric here when you get the great horses in the great races. We launched the night racing season here back in September on grand final eve. The Group 1 Manikato was overshadowed by the Group 2 Fee and Stakes with Pride of Jenny. The Valley has a roar that you don't hear on other racetracks. Hard to believe, but when we rebuild this track, you'll actually be closer to the action. So if you're sitting in the grandstand, you'll be closer to the horses. You'll still get up close and personal. The distance at the moment, if you sit in the grandstand to the furthest point, you're 200 metres closer with the new track. So it'll have an amphitheatre effect. The atmosphere will be generated by the crowd and first-class racing, of course. And we've got a spectacular backdrop too that we'll have once the track's redeveloped with the the brilliant Melbourne city skyline.
Michael, as we bid to prepare to farewell Moonee Valley in its current state, do you have a favourite memory or two?
Well, I've had 3 champions come through here in my time. I was lucky. It happened at the start. I had So You Think come through and win 2, and fitting to look at the tributes that have gone online with him over the past 36 hours since we lost him on Monday. So I had So You Think and Black Caviar come through at the same time. 2010 Cox Plate Day. Black Caviar won a Moya. So You Think won his second Cox Plate, and it'll be hard to top Winks winning 4 Cox Plates here. Her third was special, and her fourth was unbelievable. So I've been fortunate. We've had some incredible racing moments here. We've seen the internationalisation of the Cox Plate since 2014, when Aidan O'Brien had Adelaide come across and win. Outside of Winks winning 4 and Animo in 2022, international bred horses have won every other Cox Plate since 2014. So, some incredible memories, and I'm sure all those that tune in and come along on Friday and Saturday, they'll look back over history as to the Great Valley moments, and we'll close the chapter on what we call Volume 1. We'll build a new track. Racing resumes here in August 2027, and we'll start to put some greatest hits into Volume 2.
All right, we only missed 1 Cox Plate then at the Valley. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. 2026. We announced it a month or 2 ago. That'll be held at Flemington. The race meetings from next Friday. We start transferring those to host clubs, and then we've got a 21-month build before we're back here in August 27.
All right, just before we let you go there, Michael, it'd be remiss of us not to ask for a tip.
I'm super confident that Chris Waller's going to have Via Sistina at her absolute peak here. She hasn't been suited with the tempo in her last 2 runs. I think it'll be a different race here on Saturday. She broke the track record by almost 2 seconds. She won by 8 lengths last year. I'm expecting her to go back-to-back.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Michael. Good luck with the redevelopment, and I'm sure we'll catch up in 18 months' time.
Terrific. Thank you, gentlemen.
There's Michael Browell, the CEO of the Moonee Valley Race Club. It's odd to think about. We'll be without Moonee Valley for, what do you say, August 2027.
And the straight's going to look completely different. 173 metres. I know we look at Moonee Valley and go, gee, it's a short straight, but when you put it into those terms, you go, gee, that is short. That's seriously short, isn't it?
If you're sitting in the grandstand and the furthest part of the track away, you're 200 metres closer under the redevelopment. You're trying to comprehend that. How does that work?
You're right on top of it, are you not?
You can't get much closer than what you are now.
You wouldn't have thought so. But it's done a mighty job, hasn't it, that track? And we talk about the surface. That's your racetrack. If your surface isn't any good, well, you're in trouble. Or if your surface is showing signs of decay, you're forever patching up. So the Moonee Valley Club's done a super job to get to this point, given the traffic and the workload that track has had to encounter.
And just highlights the fact that race clubs, and we speak about it with James Holdering a little bit with Perth Racing, how you're trying to find revenue from outside sources now, and that's probably something race courses need to do, and a lot of them need to look to going forward, because you've obviously got a huge piece of land as a racetrack.
Yes.
And there's a lot of, for most cases, on the inside of each track, it's useless at the moment.
Well, yeah, exactly right. And that track itself, and much like others, I dare say, like Caulfield and even Flemington, but it's just basically a course smack bang in suburbia.
Yep.
Your houses around it, on the road, it's like there'd be some houses there. You walk out the front, go to your letterbox, and you're 30 metres away from the main entrance of Moonee Valley.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I was lucky enough to be there Moya Day this year, and you jump off the tram, you wouldn't even know it was there.
No,
and then you walk around there's Moonee Valley.
Exactly. Now, I reached out to Robbie Griffiths, and he said Ray Magnerio is coming. So that is the intention at this stage. Robbie Griffiths confirming this morning that Ray Magnerio, all things being equal, will be here in Perth and will be contesting the Winterbottom.
Winterbottom Stakes, good first up winner. Probably should have won by further. Was held up for the majority of the straight. $14. Tab Touch Ray Magnerio. Overpass $4, Joker's Grin $5, Giga Kick 10, War Machine 10, Rope Them In at $12.
You could have some really strong interstate representation here for the Winterbottom, couldn't you? Like, you are going to see Overpass. Yep. You will see Ray Magnerio.
At this stage, you'll see Reserve Bank. Everything going well?
More likely than unlikely. Giga Kick. Like, that's a bloody
More
good...
likely than unlikely.
Well, I think Clayton would suggest, or his comments would suggest that at this stage.
Yep.
The needle was in favour of the coming rather than not. That's a bloody good race. Yeah. Straight away, when you factor in the locals, be it a Joker's Grin, be it the Boss Lady, be it Rope Them In, Repossession will kick off his Winterbottom campaign with the Prince of Wales start next Saturday.
Yep.
Good race.
It's building nicely. Out to a quick break. Back on the Sports Daily after that.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Welcome back to the Sports Daily here on TAB Radio in Perth. We've just ticked past 10 minutes past 7. Of course, just repeating race 6, number 2 today at Belmont. Pure Obsession is Scott's best. Take him on for a chance to win a $100 Tab Touch voucher. Looking forward to catching up with our next special guest as well. A couple of key horses to take a look at both in Melbourne and Sydney. Cox Plate with Nepotism. Michael Hawkes joins us on the Sports Daily. Michael, thank you very much for your time and a very good morning.
Morning, boys. How you going?
Very well, Michael. Great to chat. How is the colt?
Yeah, he's really good. He's come through his last run really well, and obviously having those couple of runs here in Sydney. First up was, it was a good run without getting carried away, and then obviously the Golden Rose was his second run, but you kind of look back at the Golden Rose and nothing really changed shape. Only horse that made ground was really the winner and Tempted, so sort of left scratching our head a little bit, and I know we had Autumn Boy on our outside and we struggled to get past him, and I couldn't really make much of that race, to be honest, so it was really just a line through, and then obviously last start we pushed on to the Caulfield Guineas, and yeah, it was a lovely barrier trial, let's just say that. He just couldn't get any room, and he sort of ran unbelievable sectionals from the 8 to the 6 to the 4 to the 2, and then the last furlong he got held up. Now, I'm not saying he wins, but he definitely finishes in the finish with Autumn Boy, and of course Autumn Boy ended up going and winning that race. So there was the sort of form out of the Golden Rose. But looking like he wants 2,000, he's back on track, he looks good, we've drawn well. It's a sharp field Saturday. It's an even field, and we think he's a colt that's definitely got some upside, and he's worth taking his spot in that race.
So all the data available to you, and also your eye is telling you 2,000 metres a big tick?
Yeah, it is. If you go back to the run here at Randwick when he won the Champagne last prep, like he just got back and really motored home and just kept extending. So Blake Shin rode him last start. He got off and said to us and the connections on the day, he said, "Oh, geez, he's looking like he wants 2,000." And Wayne piped up and said, "Well, we've accepted the Cox Plate with him, so we definitely know that." And he went, "Oh, okay, no worries." Look, knowing the horse, knowing where he's at, it's all part of it. But yeah, he's definitely looking like he wants 2,000. But he's still a baby. He's not fully mature yet, and the best part is he is back on song, and his run last start sort of proved that. So it's hard to sort of look at these colts when you're trying to get them back. Obviously winning a Group 1 at 2 like he did, being by the son of Brutal that we trained for a Doncaster win. It's exciting that he's going forward, but he is back on track, albeit take nothing away from the other horses. We are throwing him in the deep end. It is a Cox Plate. It's not your average race.
Michael, did you start this preparation with the view that this Colts grand final would be start number 4 in a Cox Plate, or have you had to tweak it along the way?
We've always had that sort of, I suppose, plan. His ultimate plan was the Caulfield Guineas, to be fair, knowing that the Cox Plate was always 2 weeks after. And look, there's always, anyone knows our horses, there is always something left in the tank. It's our horses always perform sort of second and third up and through their prep, and we try and stabilise that through our process and what we do. And knowing that fourth up, he'd be rock hard fit and hitting the line. And sometimes it's not until you race in these races that you really go, hey, he's looking for further. Because the question is, though, guys, everyone asks you, even from a 1,200-metre horse, can they run 14? Can a 14 run a mile? Do you have to go further? The answer is no, you don't. But you've just got to keep your eye on the prize. But with him, it was always in the back of our mind. That's why we nominated him early days, and we've kept paying up for him the whole way through. So we paid up before the Guineas for the final, or the third acceptance for the Cox Plate, knowing that he was in. And then, of course, he went and ran dually on that day in the Guineas. And as I said, if anyone hasn't watched it, I suggest you go and have another look and dissect it, because it was a pretty good run.
You talk about him still being a little bit of a baby, and there's still plenty of development to come. Now, going into what possibly might be a high-pressure Cox Plate, how do you balance up the risk of reward to the fact that maybe he might not be ready for a Cox Plate? How do you make that assessment?
Well, anyone that knows us, once again, we don't run horses for the sake of running them. We're always erring on the side of caution, especially when you do have a high-profile horse like this horse is, and knowing that he's got a stud duty down the track. So, look, he's screaming like he wants 2,000. He's actually worked really good on Tuesday, and he's just kept going forward and everything we've asked of him. So there's no reason not to run. That's probably the first and foremost, whereas he's really looking like he does want further. And I know I said he's a baby, like you said, but in saying that, if he'd sort of put his foot up to say, hey, I've had enough, then he'd be in the paddock. So he's definitely going forward. He's in the upward spiral, and we think he's just got that last one to give.
Could he follow in Dad's footsteps in the autumn at Randwick?
Yeah, you never know. He's on target for that sort of race, and obviously just trying to get him back to winning form and getting another Group 1 under his belt would be amazing. And look, if he happened to win Saturday, which I honestly believe is a genuine top 3 chance, I really do at the weights. And if he happened to pull it off on Saturday, there'd be none better. And it takes a special 3-year-old to do that race like we have in the past with Octagonal. All Too Hard runs second, so you're having a throw at the stumps, but you've got to have the right throw and the horse to do it, and we feel he is. So look, he could come back in the autumn and be unbelievable, really.
Yep. All right, genuine top 3 chance. It's a nice push. Have you decided which way you're heading with Federalist?
He's running Saturday here. He's in the Spring Champion. He's made the field. I've already found out that he's number 14 of 15. So he's definitely made the field. Look, his trial last week was good. We just ticked him over, and he's really looking for 2,000. Obviously, he races in the Winkers. He's got those famous Perth colours on, and we've set him the whole way through for this race. And I'm just hoping to draw a barrier where he can at least jump and be a bit closer. And I think the 2,000 now he's going to stretch out to it. He's really going to appreciate it now. Obviously, with his breeding being by that superstar Arcadia Queen and by I'm Invincible, necessarily the breeding doesn't recommend that he's going to stretch out. But in saying that, he's looking like he wants further. And look, he could even back up in a derby yet. So we're just taking one step at a time. But first and foremost, the horse comes first. He's been well. It was good, and we're looking forward to Saturday at the moment.
Without wanting to pry, Michael, what was Tyler's remarks post-race after that run in the Dulcify?
Oh, look, it's just, it was just one of those runs to forgive. You had the horse on your outside, sort of, in the right spot for it to win, Antico, and we were actually, personally, I thought we were going better at that stage at about the 700, but we got shunted back and had to wait. And the best part I liked was he actually picked up ground and attacked the line. Now, I know he didn't win, but he was there and wanted to win. So that was first and foremost. And look, being a high-profile colt that he is, look, his form doesn't read the best. He's had 5 starts, 5 duck eggs, and everyone look at it, but he's had genuine chances of how to get beat in all 5. So I'm just hoping Saturday, boys, everything just goes to plan and to script. And I keep telling the owners, including Mr. Peters, who's probably listening, that, you've got the right horse, but we just need luck, that's all.
You ever been excited about a horse that started 5 runs 0-0-0?
Never.
It's always the first.
Well, you got to believe. You got to have faith. And we've always believed from day one, even when he was just a train wreck in his first start at Newcastle, and everything's just gone pear-shaped. So, look, the horse looks amazing. He's well. He's ticking over nice, and I can't hold him.
Fair enough. Gangster Granny, will we see her again on the weekend?
Yeah, Gangster's really good. She's her win was outstanding. She was knocking on the door. Obviously, the start before that wasn't a fantastic ride, but change of pilot. Zach got the job done, and she's in the invitation on Saturday, and it's an even race. Look, it's 1,400, and it's something that probably 14 at this stage is her limit. I'm not going to deny that, and we probably really need to draw a nice barrier so she can have the optimum run. But if anything out of this race, she's actually a mare that's on the improve. I think she only had about 8 starts and hasn't been out of the placings in any of them. So she's a lovely big scopy mare. She's only getting better with racing, and just everything. I hope she can draw a barrier for her to go right, because she does put herself on speed and she wants to win, and she attacks that line. So it's a classy field without getting carried away. I think it's an even field, and it's a field she's going to be really competitive in.
Is there another one that we haven't touched on in the next couple of days that you can push our listeners into?
Oh, look, honestly, not overly. These ones on Saturday, they're... look, I've got to give credit to the grey horse that ran in the Everest. He'll probably head towards the Russell Balding, Briassa. Yep. Nothing went right. He just missed the start, and anyone knows when you miss a start in that race, you're game over, because it is high-pressure stakes. So at this stage, we'll push on to the Russell Balding, which is 1,300 at Randwick, and I'm sure he'll bounce back. So if anyone was on him, don't jump off him.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Michael. All the best over the next couple of days, and most importantly on Saturday.
Thanks, boys.
There's Michael Hawke. So that's a really good push for the couple of 3-year-olds that they've got on the up.
Yeah, very much so. He looks like the 2,000 metres is going to be right in his wheelhouse, Federalist.
Yep.
To be fair, and Nepotism needs to recapture that form that he showed as an autumn 2-year-old. He won the Champagne. I think he was successful the start prior to that, but he didn't get a lot of galloping room when he needed it in the Guineas, and Michael outlined that. So 3-year-olds in this race, they do have a good record.
Well, we were speaking about the market, and there's a few holes you can punch in a bit of the form of those contenders up the top. So if there is one to jump out of the ground, it might be a 3-year-old down in the weights significantly. Clearly, Nepotism in with 49.5 kilos. If he does run a strong 2,000 metres, he's going to be there.
Yeah, spot on. So you know that he's a Group 1 winner already now. Again, that's 2-year-old Group 1 form, so he needs to elevate. But... he'll get an opportunity there, and who knows put it this way, maybe with the exception of, would you be surprised if Attrition was to win that race on the weekend?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
So I think it's, as much as Via Sustina is all the rage and the like, if Light Infantryman and Attrition won the race, and I think even Globe. Other than that, there's 6 of the other 9 you could say, yeah, okay, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that, be it an Antino, be it a Buckaroo, Via clearly treasure the moment if she gets somewhere near her best, the 3-year-old in Aliana. So, Light Infantryman, no. Globe concerns, is he at that level also? I know he's a last start Group 1 winner, and perhaps... Attrition. Other than that, I think it's game on.
No, exactly right. 3 runs into the campaign for Antino this time in. Hasn't saluted, but getting very close to a win. And I'm sure the next man, trainer Tony Gollan, will be hoping that win is on Saturday. Tony, thank you very much for your time, and a good morning over here in Perth.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Tony. How is Antino since we last saw him when he was so brave behind Sir Delius?
Oh, he's terrific. He's built beautifully into his preparation. Everything's gone to plan, I guess you could say, and he's just building nicely with each run.
What did you make of the last start, second in the Turnbull?
Yeah, I thought he was terrific. It was a funny race. It looked as though he was going to get a beautiful run on the back of Sedelius when it was crap wide, and all of a sudden they rolled along a little bit further and it got in, and we were just posted on the limb. So it made life a little bit trickier. We sort of made our run, and condition just peaked on us late. Obviously, Sedelius, it was very, very good. But we come out of that Maccabi, which has been well documented, that walk and sprint race. He'd come out of a much tougher Underwood. So I just think the scorer conditioning didn't really help us late, but that run brought us to where we want to be. His horse improved significantly, I think, since the Turnbull. We've seen him historically race really well on his fourth run in from a prep being his peak run. So nothing's showing me that's not going to be this weekend as well.
From this side of the country, Tony, it appears it's been a seamless preparation. Would that be fair?
Yeah, it's seamless as preparations again, I suppose. Everything's gone pretty well. We got into Melbourne quite early, very similar to what I did last spring, and Barry trialled him down here. And at each run, he's just built and built and built towards what is, I guess, his grand final day, which is this weekend. And then if we've got some juice left in the tank, we'll go to Flemington a couple of weeks later. But everything's been geared around this race.
You touched on the Mackay Avery's second run in this preparation. When the race is run like that, do you have to change the prep at all? Does anything change with him? Because, as you mentioned, it was such a slowly run race.
No, I didn't really. I kept the prep the same. I had options to change the preparation, but I was happy enough to go the 3 weeks to the turn. But we just, with the facilities we have down here in Melbourne, they're great to, go to the Cranbourne racetrack, the actual racetrack, and had a nice gallop with one of Kieran's over there in between just to keep him up to the mark. And I felt we produced him pretty good on Turnbull Stakes Day. Just a bit more solid a run. I just think lacking that tougher run at the mile just caught me out. But, I think I left, Flemington quite happy with where I was at preparation-wise, for the Cox Plate.
Tony, you've won multiple big races. How does it feel to have a horse like Antino very much in the market for this Weight for Age Championship?
It's pretty special. To have a horse like him at any time, really. But, to be involved in a race like this, it's been a really big build-up, particularly this last week. But it's enjoyable. We're enjoying it, and we know that, come Saturday evening, he won't let me down. He'll run his best races he can. That's all we can ask of him. But it's been a really cool race to be a part of. The whole spring's been terrific. They've been very tactical affairs, these races, and Saturdays will be no different. But it's been a great build-up.
How do you go on the eve of such a big race? Are you a nervous trainer, or do you just let it fold the way it folds, given you've done all that you can do?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty okay. Main thing for me was just the preparation going to plan, really, and the rest of the week now we just got to dot our I's and cross our T's. Really, just got to amble our way to the races. With all the hard work's pretty well being done. Hopefully, no last minute catastrophes we've got to handle. But if there are, I'm sure we'll do our best. But at this point in time, it's been smooth, and hopefully it remains smooth. And I'm a nice, calm person heading to Moonee Valley on Saturday.
Oh, hopefully, as they cross the line, you're not too calm in a good way, Tony. You touched on the fact that a couple of these races have been tactical affairs. Just a quick look at this Cox Plate. If Globe doesn't get there doesn't look like there's much speed. Have you had a good look at it just yet?
Yeah, look, even if Globe does, it didn't go that quick at all at Caulfield the other day. It was a bit of a optical illusion, wasn't it? He wasn't really, burning the clock. He was out in front by a couple on those others, and I don't know, they've got the sectionals wrong. I think he didn't seem to be going that hard to me. If he comes out, it'll be trickier again. I'd imagine light infantryman might have to work across from the wide draw. The 3-year-old, no weight, obviously nepotism, could race a lot further forward, I'd imagine, with 49.5 on his back. But it'll be a real tactical race. We're drawn where we want to draw. I won't sort of amble down too much with Blake. He does all the homework. He knows the horse inside and out. So I've got full trust in him. And more importantly, Blake's got full trust in Antino. So whatever move he decides to do on him, he'll have full trust in the horse, and the horse will repay him.
What has been the feedback from Blake aboard this bloke all the way through the spring, Tony? Has it been nice and positive in regards to how he feels and how he's tracking?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. He's tracking along really well. I think we're a little frustrated, but still happy with him on Turnbull Stakes Day. Just frustrated to be just put on a limb and call that little bit deep. But, probably the conditioning run we really need, for this weekend. So, his feedback's been great. All preparation, we've been eyeing this race off, and the way we've ridden him, on different occasions, it's always with this in mind. Now we've tried to, win as best we could, but I think both of us are happy where we're at.
All very positive. Transatlantic, how's he going?
Yeah, he's going great. He's going really good, this horse. He's another young horse that's taken a little while to mature, and he's doing a great job. He's trained on beautifully since the Toorak. He heads back to Sydney to chase some of their riches now for the 5 Diamond Prelude and the 5 Diamonds, and he leaves tonight from Cranbourne to make his way up to Sydney, and he's in as good a shape as what he was Toorak Day, if not a little bit better.
All right, so they're the 2 runs, and then that'll be him, you think?
Yeah, that'll be him then. Yeah, I did flirt with the idea of looking at a nom for over your way when they were out, but I just think he's had a pretty busy time with winter into spring, and he can go home, have a nice break, and look at the autumn next year in Sydney. Hopefully, maybe back for a Doom and Cup. Who knows, in Brisbane.
All right. Do you have a winner today at Eagle Farm, Tony?
We've got an unusually small team in today for us. I thought Lady Milan looked my best. First starter, lovely filly, drawn low. Track will be quick enough, and she should get a lovely run, be pretty sharp.
All right, that is Lady Milan, race 3, number 11 today at Eagle Farm. Thank you very much for your time, Tony. Greatly appreciated, and all the best on Saturday.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later,
There's Tony Gollan. So, Ian Tino, everything very positive there. We heard Michael Hawkes from Nepotism. All positive there.
Well, if you're not positive going into a Cox Plate with your horse, when are you going to be positive? You need to be positive, don't you?
Well,
Do you expect that Nepotism will be ridden to best utilise his weight?
I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so.
You have to, do you not?
Well, you're going to go into the race where there's not a lot of speed, so I think everyone's going to have a look at maybe settling in the first 4, and then that might make it a little bit interesting down the straight for the first time.
Yeah, like you've got no weight. It's a great advantage. If you've got a horse like him, just use it. Don't sit back and try and pick runs.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. Antino probably expecting to go forward, but then if Nepotism holds a spot, Treasure the Moment, you'd think from gate 1 holds a spot, Light Infantryman comes across. Might be a little bit messy going into that first corner.
Yeah, it could well be. It could well be. But as Tony quite rightly remarked there, they've been tactical affairs, some of these big races, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
They really have. So are we going to see another one on Saturday? There's every likelihood we will.
All right, hang around for 5 minutes here on the Sports Daily, and you're about to hear from Neville Parnham.
Make Tab Radio your station of choice each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
Welcome back to the Sports Daily. Taylor Cortland and Digby Beecham with you, taking a closer look now at Ascot. Projecting forward, of course, the main event there Saturday, the Belgravia Stakes. Neville Parnham, who we are about to catch up with, has 2 nominated, Country God and Zoo Run, both horses on the up, and looking forward to chatting about September Born. It looks like he'll be able to get back to the races for the first time in a long time.
Great to see him back. Trialled particularly well. We spoke to Brad about September Born last Friday, didn't we? And he gave him a good push.
Absolutely. All right, we'll get it from the trainer's mouth now. Neville Parnham joins us on the Sports Daily. Neville, a very good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, Taylor. Digby.
How are you, Neville?
Good, thanks. Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you for your time this morning. We were just touching on September Born. We mentioned that we had a chat to Brad last Friday about him. How has he done since that trial?
Extremely well, yeah. He had a fairly solid gallop Saturday morning, and he was really good. Yeah, probably worked right in his best form. So looking forward to him fronting up there on the weekend.
You nominated him for both the 1,000 and the 1,400 metres. You went the way of the 1,400 metres. Was that just gate related?
A little bit, yeah. I just looked at what was in that 1,000, and there's a few really pretty sharp ones in that, and I wasn't sort of thinking that he needed to be doing a lot of chasing, and plus 1,400 probably suits better with going forward anyway, sort of where we might or potentially finish up, but where we would like to finish up. I guess that's the best way to put it, yeah.
Where would you like to finish up with him, provided everything stays the way it is at the moment, Neville?
Well, I'd like to get a run in the Railway Stakes with him if it's possible, but his rating points at the moment wouldn't get him in there, so he needs to come out and perform, and I'm not super confident he'd get a run in the Asian Bow next week even, so seems to be plenty of nice open horses around at the moment, and I know there's a lot of horses in his same category. They're promising, and they're just a little bit short on the points that will probably get them in there. But yeah, hopefully he can return on Saturday and get some points. And where I go from there will probably be dependent on how he goes Saturday.
Are you hoping he wins on Saturday, or are you more confident he can win on Saturday?
I'm pretty confident the best version of him will turn up there on Saturday. So, I would have liked it to be in a 1,200 metre race, but for whatever reason, we're not really didn't really have that in our programming with horses. It was either 1,000 or a 14. So, it was a little bit tricky for him, but that's probably the only thing that'll beat him Saturday is the 14. But the way he worked last Saturday morning, I think most of them would have to be at their best to beat him. I know there's a couple of horses in that race that are nice horses as well, but he worked at his absolute best. And Opportunistic was good the other day in a higher grade, but he's got the 60 to carry. Hopefully we can turn up and return in the winner's circle.
It would be fantastic to see. Now, talking of 1,200 metre races, the feature there at Ascot on Saturday, Neville, is the Belgravia Stakes, and you're going to be represented by a boy and a girl. The boy, Country God, drew 2, and Zoo Run came up with barrier 8. Chris to ride at 53 kilos. Can we start with Country God off the back of that recent trial, please?
Yeah, he trialled really good. He finished up in front, I think, and he just didn't really sort of suit his style. He was a bit fresh, and nothing else really wanted it. But he's come back really well. Worked up nicely. His trial was good. I think he comes off just a few weeks off during the winter and a campaign that sort of finished up pretty good for him. He won 3 and was second in the other. So. I think if he can bring that kind of form back to the races, he'll be competitive in these events, and we'll sort of start, seeing which ones are up to it and which ones aren't. But there's a lot of horses there with really good, nice form, and they'll all come together at some stage, and some of them will come together this weekend. But I expect from a good gate he takes up a good position and. He should run really well.
Zoo Run, that trial was very impressive as well, Neville.
She's an impressive horse. She hasn't really done anything wrong. She's a bit of a late maturer, but when she sort of finally stepped out in July, she ran a super race and finished up just a bit of a checkered run, not far into the straight, and the winner just got away from her, but she was taking good ground off it at the finish. And then her next start, she came down the outskirts of the track after a pretty ordinary barrier draw, and that just plonked her sort of out, had to go deep. And she beat the Crimson Pirate that day, which I know, there's a few people who've got nice opinions of that horse, so I think it might front up today, actually. But she was impressive there. And then when she went to Belmont, a start after that, she went from 11 to a 14, and she commenced a bit awkwardly, and I think she might have copped a bit of a bump. I just can't remember, but she was sort of tailed out the back, and then got a beautiful run through him. I think the cutaway was there that day, which opened up the field a little, and she shot through there, and she won with a bit of authority, felt that she had enough at that point, and decided to sort of give her a little bit of a break, and she's come back and trialled up extremely well. Work has been extremely good, hence the reason Chris has opted to ride her. So, she's drawn 8. I see there's a scratching already. I think I saw it earlier that so she'll come into at least 7. She should get a pretty reasonable run from there, and hopefully she can she can be running on strongly at the finish, yeah.
You mentioned that Chris is committed to her. He's probably given the punters a bit of a lead as well. Neville, would that be fair, riding 53?
Yeah, look, he rang me yesterday morning and asked me what I was thinking, and I mentioned I had her nominated a few times, and yeah, I guess probably wanting for him to ride it, but thinking that the 53 would probably be a bit beyond him. But he just put it out there. He said, look, if you finish up going that way, he said, I'll ride the 53, you know. So,
yep.
That would be definite that he has given them a lead by suggesting that he can ride the 53 kilos.
Both of those, Country God and Zoo Run Run, what are you thinking next starts for them? Does Country God start at the 1200 and Zoo Run Run stretches out to 14?
The intention is to stretch her out. I mean, she's won at 14 so far in her career, short career, so we'll definitely go to the Burgess Queen with her, and then we'll sort of work out her path from there, I guess. You know, I'm hoping that she'll get out to the Champion Fillies distance, but we won't know until we try. But the other fella... I haven't quite decided which way he goes next, but it's likely we'll take him to the Fair-Ether, but we'll just see how he goes Saturday, and then we might there's obviously a couple of options. You know, there's the Placid Arc over 1200, and there's the head towards the Guineas at 1600, but I'm just not quite sure just yet with him, but I keep banging my head up against the wall thinking, well, his mum was an out-and-out sprinter, but... obviously playing God's, perhaps put a bit of stamina in it. And, I don't know. We'll just see how he goes Saturday, and then we'll see what path we take.
Neville, you've had many a good day on a racetrack. How special was it to see Bruce Almighty do what he did first up? And secondly, will we see him in the Northern Cup on the weekend?
Certainly will. Yeah, it was a good feel-good day, I guess. Yeah. You know, he was close to getting retired from his last campaign. I think I flagged it one day that it might be his last campaign, and you know he'd won that during that period, which he generally wins most preparations, and he just done a mighty job. And he was really small when he was a baby, and these guys leased it off Gray Williamson, and he's just done, you know, he's always sort of shown promise, and when he first started off in his 3-year-old year, but he just kept getting better and better and more mature, and he's been just a real stable favourite. Every time he steps out there, you know you're going to get 100% with him unless there's something not quite right with him, or he's had enough. So, it was great to see him return and still have that zest. You know, I do think it sort of was a bit exaggerated. They didn't go on out at a hard tempo, and he travelled so well outside the leader and even right to the 200-metre mark before Blackdar even let him go. So when he did, he sort of found a couple of lengths, and it was enough to stall off all these, all the nice horses that were running on at the finish.
Can I ask about statewide, Neville, and how good this 3-year-old is?
Well, he's always shown plenty of promise. He's the horse is obviously won the other day, and Steve just wanted to put him in the race a bit early. Just didn't want to be straightening up for home and wanting him to sprint. So he sort of got flushed a bit wide, but he kept building, and on the line he said he felt like there was still a couple of gears left in there. So I think he's a pretty nice horse. He's running the sires when he got out to the 1400 metres was excellent, I thought, and he just couldn't go the pace early in the Karrakatta. You know, he still made up many lengths and ran a decent race. We pursued with the size produce, and he just one just sort of drifted around in front of him, and you know, when Steve committed to go one way, it drifted that way again, so he had to change course, and in the meantime, the second horse, got up in his inside and got that run. But once he got clear, he actually thundered to the line, and it wouldn't have been wanted to be much further, and he would have probably got up and won that race. So he's definitely got the class to warrant a crack at trying to qualify there to run in a Guineas, and the 1,600 metres would be perfect for him, in my opinion. So I think he's a pretty promising horse, yeah.
Neville, were you satisfied with Bustler and Zip Away on the weekend?
Yeah, in a fashion, yeah. Bustler was probably a little bit unsuitable. You know, he travelled all right for half the race, and then when they ramped up the speed again, you know, it was probably the only race there on Saturday where there was a genuine tempo, and you know, he just come off the bridle and was doing a bit of chasing, but he was okay. He held on all right. I think you'll see a completely different horse in the Listia Stakes when he steps out in a couple of weeks, but I just wanted to give him that run prior to that rather than a barrier trial. I felt that he'd get more out of it, and behind the scenes he's going really, really well. So I think as we see him get to these 14 and 1600s, I think that's when he'll find his best form, and hopefully he'll be able to return to the winner's circle.
All right. Now, just before we let you go, and again, we thank you so much for your time this morning and your insight. Do you have a winner today?
Do I have a winner? I've got a few runners.
Yes.
I think they're all sort of, you know, they're all in the market, I guess. But out of them all, I do like that horse Bondi Lifesaver. I think he's a nice horse. He's still a bit green, still a bit new, but I think when he puts it all together, he will be a really nice horse. And the other one I thought might sort of run well is Mass Mallow.
Yep.
It had a bit of a checkered passage in the straight the other day, but when she saw a bit of daylight very late, she picked up and sprinted again. So hasn't drawn that well, but I think Belmont Park might be a little bit more suitable, and she'll be eating up the ground late. And I think she's a horse that, eventually she'll get out over a bit of a trip. So we'll see where it takes us this prep, and might have to put her away for maybe an Oaks or something. But I do think she's quite promising as well.
For the listeners, that's race 4, number 16, Mass Mallow, and then Bondi Lifesaver comes up in the second, number 7. Thank you very much for your time, Neville. All the best over the next couple of days, and in particular on Saturday.
All right, no problem.
There's
Thank you.
Hall of Fame trainer Neville Parnham.
Yeah, great to have a chat to the Hall of Famer. Good insight there with a few of his horses and what he's thinking going forward. But I concur. I sense, TC, you're a believer in statewide.
Yeah, I like statewide.
Yep.
Whether or not it all comes up a little bit quick for him, because I thought he looked pretty green there at Northam last week. I'm not sure he totally knew what he was doing, but hopefully he can come on quickly. He's always looked like a horse at 1,600 metres, and Neville said it there. 1,600 metres is going to be right up his alley.
Would it be fair to say we'll have a better handle on what the Guineas and perhaps the Champion Fillies looks like post the Belgravia on the weekend?
Well, I think so. You'd be shocked if we don't.
Yeah.
King of Light, what do we expect there? Probably going to be favourite for the Guineas. I'm not...
That market will come out today. Now, Brad Parnham, naturally, has been named on Talk & Co, has 57 kilos, so she has to give some weight to the boys. But she was brilliant fresh, wasn't she? Absolutely electric, and she hasn't put a foot wrong in her career to this point in time. So it's a really good race. King of Light 4. Okay, put your bookmaker's hat on. Channel your inner Brad McManus. Who goes up favourite later today?
Oh, great question, Dickens. Well done. Throw that at me. Who goes up favourite? Probably still Talk & Co. But on the page I'm looking at, still bearing number 14. I haven't done the maths there as to where she'll come into, but still think it'll be hard for her not to be favourite in the opening market.
Okay.
Well backed first up, won over a trip that looks like it's going to be a little bit unsuitable. 1,000 metres, she's only going to get better out to 12. Just at a quick look, I'd say she'd be favourite or very close to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
1,200 King of Light, just short of his best, I think, and a longer campaign ahead. Is he going to be absolutely tuned up for this? Probably not. Is he good enough to win? Of course.
Absolutely he can win. I think he'll have a 2 or a 3 in front of him. King of Light, I think he's going to be right there alongside her for favouritism, and it wouldn't be a shock. I don't know. We'll find out later today whether he does go up as the pole marker in this race. Now, whether he starts that or not, I don't know, but I just think the Pike, the first trial was brilliant, wasn't it? It was terrific.
Very, very good.
Yeah. So, anyway, we'll wait and see.
And a couple of other horses there on the program. Very positive report there from Neville about September Born. Whether or not he can get him into a railway stakes this preparation, I'm not too sure, but clearly has the talent levels to do so. And kicking off at 1,400 metres is going to be awfully hard to beat, according to Neville.
And Chris Parnham on the front foot, as Neville indicated there, ringing yesterday. So what are you doing, Dad, with this filly?
Zoo Run, 53 kilos. So that's a really good push from Chris at this stage of the carnival. Absolutely. All right, we'll take a quick break. Plenty of time for your text messages on the other side.
Overpass, par for the course. Overpass, it's 4 for 4 and Ascot wins another Winterbottom.
Today's midweek preview for Morley Mitsubishi, the home of the Mitsubishi Triton. Drive away the 4x2 Triton for $33,990 today. Go to Morley Mitsubishi, 212 Walter Road, Morley, or morleymitsubishi.com.au.
All right, welcome to the midweek preview. Dickers, you're still here. Good morning.
Very good morning, Taylor. Great to see you again.
Scott, how do you do?
I do excellently.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I'd welcome in Macca, but we did test the headphones before and now we've changed. How are we going?
We did indeed. Off the bench, the emergency headset there.
Okay.
I felt that one was feeling a bit limp in the arm. Okay. It was drifting away down just below my chin line.
Yeah, nothing worse than
which would have been inaudible for our friends listening into the show this morning. So we had to think very quickly.
Yep. All right. Catch your breath. Just relax.
I've only gone 2 metres and I'm
you're
blowing up.
Yeah, you're fitting well in here. Had a man in the studio chafe from a golf cart. So try and work that out.
He what?
Got chafe after playing golf, but we're in a cart.
In a cart?
Yeah. Couldn't quite work that out. But anyway, just waiting for Shaun O'Donnell to get on the line, padding for a little bit.
Okay.
So other than that, what do we think of the meeting?
Well, I was just saying to Scott off air a few moments ago, I thought it was a really interesting program back at Belmont today, and a lot of horses coming out of the barrier trials, and we're thinking, they've got scope, they've got future. Then we start to look at some of the horses that they've beaten in the trials, and we haven't been able to find them with a periscope in some instances. There's a really good one back in action this afternoon, but then you start to contemplate what price is worthy of taking, and when is it too short? And I refer to Delta's Son. We see him there. Overall, I just think that with these new horses starting to come through, the spring 3-year-olds, it's an exciting time. You don't quite know what you're going to get, but we're looking forward to it with a level of anticipation.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the full preview too, courtesy of Morley Mitsubishi on this Wednesday morning, and looking forward to seeing Shaun O'Donnell in action. He joins us on the preview. Donga, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, boys. How are we today?
Very well, Shaun. Great to have a chat to you. How do we find you?
Always good, Diggers. I'm fighting fit, ready to go.
Good to hear. Great to have you on board this morning. And it's great to see 90 Mile Straight back at the races. Now, this filly, you know particularly well. What did you make of that first up performance, and how do you assess her chances today?
Yes, I thought her performance was very admirable. She got held up a little bit into the straight at Northern because there wasn't a cutaway, and just had to wait and bide my time. But she hit the line very good. Obviously, Pikey's horse had gone around us and got clear and won quite well, but it didn't seem to go too well over the 1,400 on Saturday. Willie's horse that beat her. But look, I think because she's still in the short race, she's going to go very well. And it's a small but very competitive field, this, but looking forward to riding her. She should acquit herself very well.
Only a small field, as you say, Donga, but it looks like Luke's filly might go pretty quick.
Yeah, good morning, Scotty. Yes, definitely. It's obviously got the trial form there, and it's lightning quick, which will be good because, I'd like to be 1-1 in a 5-horse field. It's easy to say from barrier 4, but, it's you could nearly toss a coin with this lot.
Don't disagree with that. I think it's a really even competitive affair to start proceedings. You get a chance to rest up for a little while after the opening event, and then you're back aboard Real Serenity, who you did trial on the 13th of October. This mare, she's been consistent. Shaun, how do you think she'll fare today over the 1,400 metres, albeit it is a Class 1?
Yes, I think the 1,400 first up will be just perfect for her. She trialled very well over the 1,200, just needed the trial, but obviously she won a staying race her last prep, and look, she's only a fine little individual, but definitely looking forward to her getting through today. And I would say second up she'll go to a mile and then hopefully an 18, then the 2,000 metre race. So it depends how fast they go on this. She might not be able to keep up, but hopefully she acquits herself well.
Now, Shaun, good morning to you. We go to race 7. You're riding a bit of a long shot there for Gino Paletti, your old mate, Pacific boxer. Went to the 2J meeting on that Sunday card and was placed there, coming off a trial there. Is it not one of those horses in the race that you'd exclude from your exotics that can come on, given the fact that it's dropping back to 56 kilos?
Yeah, good morning, Darren. Totally agree, mate. This bloke got to a Class 3 quite quick, and I think he's had a few little issues along the way. His last trial was good, and I was quite happy with his run at 2J. They just ran him off his feet, and he got a little bit tired. But, look, he's carrying 56. He's drawn a good gate. And if he ran in the money somewhere today, I wouldn't be surprised, because he has got ability. But like I stress, he's had a few issues along the way. But I'm pretty sure Gino's got him going not too bad today. Otherwise, you wouldn't be at the races. And obviously, it's not a bad little race, this. But if you throw him in for a novelty, for a place, you might be right.
Speaking of not bad races, that final event today has got some pretty nice 3-year-olds in it. But Define Beautiful, she's a year older than them, but she seems to have found her way again.
Yeah, she's been a bit frustrating for the connections and Trevor and Joe, but I've been very happy with her this prep. She has put a couple of good second placings together. The other races she hasn't featured in, she's kind of mucked the start up a little bit. She gets a bit upset in the barriers, but look, I doubt she'll be too far away. She should be finishing in the top 5. Not sure what order. Hopefully the first order would be lovely for this horse, but yeah, she acquits herself well and she's in good form.
Who's the best of your sits today?
Cool. Yeah, that's a good question. I'd have to toss up between the first and last race.
Yep.
That's for sure. If you tossed a coin, you'd be quite happy to land on either one.
What was your post-race assessment of all plays first up run, Donga?
I know my arms were about 5 foot longer when I come back in, that's for sure. He just raced a bit fresh, unfortunately. Look, he's done well since, and he always kind of, after having a run, he actually settles a little bit better. So I'm looking forward to riding him this Saturday. But he hasn't been the easiest horse to ride over my campaign rides on him, as you can tell. But, geez, when I can get him right and relax a bit, we know he's pretty bloody good, this horse.
Yeah, that he is. Hopefully we see the best version of him on the weekend, Shaun. Hey, great to chat, mate. Best of luck today and also on Saturday.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Shaun O'Donnell there joining us on the preview brought to you by Morley Mitsubishi on this Wednesday morning. Gentlemen, 5 horses in the first race. The MCO Polytrack Handicap. 3-year-old No Metro wins in the last year. 1,000-metre race. Well supported, out to $3, now into $2.15. Your favourite Tennessee Spirit. $3.60 90 miles straight. $3.70 Ladies Pro. $8 Call Me Invincible. And $19 Sweet Izzy, the outsider of the field. Pay 1 and 2, obviously. We'll start with you, Digby.
Not sure, TC. I'm really not sure with this race, only because we've got Tennessee Spirit, who showed electrifying speed over the 400, but now gets to 1,000 against horses like 90 Mile Straight, who's had 1,000-metre spin around, and also Ladies Pro, who's trialled up, I thought, very well.
Well, you like 90 Mile Straight first up?
Yeah, I did.
Like the trials?
I did like the trial, and I like the trial of Ladies Pro, who'll be ridden today by Lucy. Had to cover ground in that recent trial, ran second behind one who looks like he's got a motor, it must be said. I'm just not sure, but the money is really strong for the favourite here, Scott.
He's one of Bob Peters, isn't he? The one that beat Ladies Pro in the trials.
He is.
Looks good.
Does.
But for Tennessee Spirit, look, the first thing you want to see in a 400-metre jump out is them break that 24-second barrier. That's normally what you'd use as the sort of the benchmark for how quick they're going. And then you look into who's in that trial. And I think that's probably what sells you on Tennessee Spirit, was that the runner-up was the Perth Stakes winner in Castle Road. And then it's back to Baby Pearl, who's a Saturday winner. So it's not like she beat slouches. And the other thing, excuse me, the lurgy still got me, is that she sort of half jumped sideways.
She did.
But, gee, she must have quick.
She just didn't leave the gates cleanly at all. And I thought it made the performance of the trial, given it was only over a very, very short trip, 400 metres, the time that she ran. But the other thing too is she's such a sweet mover. Gee, she's a real type. I think that if she can jump cleanly from barrier 1, spring to the lead, it'll take a nice one to run her down. And what we've seen, because I thought through the back end of that trial, she was getting further and further away from them.
I'm a believer in leaders over 1,000 at Belmont Park. Yeah. Everybody knows that. So in the small field of 5, that's the way that I play. But admittedly, at 2:10, 2:15, it's a leap of faith that you're taking from just a 400-metre jump out.
Yeah, and sometimes they can jib at the start, Diggs, can't they? When they look at the starter there on his stand right in front from barrier 1, horses having their first run, they don't always break cleanly as they do sometimes in those barrier trials.
But I think the great thing for the filly and for Chris is that I don't see anything in this field, the other 4 opponents that have got an interest in leading. The rest of them are looking for a little spot to follow.
I think that Chris could dominate this right from the get-go. He can find the front. And Tennessee Spirit will take, I think, a fair bit of running down. But I think Ladies Pro, given the horse that had finished second behind that Cinque Stella, it does look a very nice type, and this is schooled very well also for Grant and Delana. So I'd expect that it'll be attacking the line hard. You've got Call Me Invincible that's got a few runs on the board also. Came out of that same trial as Ladies Pro, and 90 miles straight. She can only but come on out of that first up run behind Moonwalk, and again, she's a very well-related filly, so I'll be putting them in 5, 2, 1 and 3, but like you, Diggs, I wasn't really sure 100% about who I was going to tip in the race.
I'm perhaps more intrigued about this Ladies Pro because we know she's on debut. She's been nommed for the Placid Art, she's been nommed for the Guineas, and she's also been nommed for the Northerly. Now, it is that time of the year where you throw in the noms and then you work through it.
Throw them all in.
But, clearly she must be showing something at home for them to have that opinion. So, look, I've gone that way. 2 Ladies Pro. I like the trial. I think there's something there. So she's on top from 3, 90 miles straight. 5 Tennessee Spirit, your leader, absolutely, and is going to give some cheek. We know the sire can get a fast horse. And 1, Call Me Invincible. 2, 3, 5, 1.
5 for me, Tennessee Spirit, who's on the 4th line of betting all in the Placid Arc. Hasn't even been to the races yet.
It's bizarre.
It's craziness. 3, 90 miles straight. 2, Ladies Pro, and 1, Call Me Invincible. 5, 3, 2, 1.
That's for Scott. Darren with 5, 2, 1 and 3. And Digby with 2, 3, 5 and 1 to kick the day off at Belmont, race number 1. Race 2, the Morley Growers Market Maiden over the 1,200 metres, all starting at this stage. $3 into $2.70. Our Girl Can Run. $3.20 the Crimson Pirate, $5 Bondi Lifesaver, $9.50 Refem No Angel, $10 About Pemberton. Then we get out to Gabex at $19. Market Moves, the best one probably, Bondi Lifesaver, $8 into $5. How do we play race number 2, Scott?
I'm going to play How Girl Can Run, but with trepidation because of the barrier and the unknown of whether Holly will go forward or go back, and coupled with the price point, $2.70. I think $2.70 is too short to be backing this filly with those unknowns, but I think she's the one with the most ability in the race. And the reason I say I don't really want to take $2.70 because the Crimson Pirate, one of the main dangers, looks like he's going to get a great run. Pemberton's shown ability at the trials. There's money around for Bondi Lifesaver. I thought this race had more depth than a clear-cut favourite like Our Girl Can Run, so she'd need to be a bit easy for me to be interested. But that first up run behind Playing It Sweet and Snitzelate, it's the best form by a mile.
Yeah, that it is, but barrier 13 of 13 is certainly a major concern. I think that this is a better than average maiden, to be quite honest. And if you wanted to start with the Crimson Pirate, well, it's a bridesmaid at each of its 3 runs so far. And it's got frank form, though, through Zoo Run and, maybe to a lesser degree, the 2J Cup winner, Capable Angel. The trial, I thought it was okay without being over the top. I thought it was an all right kind of a trial. But you get Willie here and you get him first up. Diggs, one from the trials that I don't know why it's sort of captured my imagination the way that it has. It's a pretty well-related 3-year-old by Harry Angel, half to Charlton Eddy. Doesn't it cover the ground beautifully? Yeah. Refem No Angel.
Yeah, agree. Trial was really good, and there's been some form out of that trial already. I think Boutalese came through that trial.
It did. Finished in behind it. But I just love the way that it lengthens through the back end of those trials. It's reaching for ground. It's a value leg, I think, in this race at $9.50 at the moment. I know it's got a sticky gate, but there is something there. It had the winkers on there in the trial. I thought it began okay there, and I love the way that when it went to them, it just put a margin on them in the late stages of the trial. So I'm going to play a bit of value in this one.
Yeah, look, I can understand where you're coming from. He's certainly in my numbers. I just wasn't sure where he got in this race. In saying that, I wasn't convinced that Our Girl Can Run, provided Holly wanted to be positive, Scott, whether she could hit the rail here on this horse. So
I think she can if she wants to.
Yeah, okay.
What do you see there, Diggs, that could push up? Pemberton led them in the trial.
Pemberton led them in the trial. Gabex Shades On is interesting. I wouldn't be thinking Gabex is going to be all that far away from the speed. She's Daval. Alex Hearn, Barrier 1.
Could be.
Could be as well. We know that Alex likes to put his horses on speed. I'm just not convinced that Our Girl Can Run is going to hit the rail.
I've had to drop her down the order because of just the unknown. And there again, I suppose in some part I could say the same about Refem No Angel, who's got, only one run so far under its belt and it was put straight to the paddock, but maybe it's come back better this time around. So, look, I'm going 8 each way. The Crimson Pirate, naturally enough, because he's a competitive galloper, a 3-year-old that's had the 3 runs, 3 placings. You've got franked form all around him. Bondi Lifesaver is an interesting one there for me as well. I thought it finished off good numbers there at Northern behind Moonwalk. I know that there'll be references made to that race as well periodically, and did run second to Refem No Angel in that trial and a half to Queen Lena, so it'll probably benefit from getting out over further a bit later. I think it's another one here that you could include there in the exotics. It is $9 into $5, so there is bullish support. Then Our Girl Can Run. If she happened to find the fence, then she might take a fair bit of cutting down. So you've got to include her. I'm 8, 4, 7, 9, but I've played the second with a bit of value in mind, Diggs.
4, 9, 8, 5 for me. The Crimson Pirate fresh from 9, Our Girl Can Run, 8, Refem No Angel, and 5, Pemberton. The trial I thought was good, Scott.
It was very good of Pemberton's, but 9 for me in Our Girl Can Run. The unknown is where she gets to, but I've no doubt Playing at Sweet's now won a 66 plus. Snitzalate was luckless in a Max Simmons, and this filly was beaten a length and a quarter. So it's the best race form, but I just don't know where she gets. 5 Pemberton, 4 Crimson Pirate, 7 Bondi Lifesaver, 9, 5, 4, 7.
That's for Scott in race number 2. Macca with 8, 4, 7 and 9. Diggers with the 4 on top to beat 9, 8 and 5. Race 2. We'll get through the third before we get to traffic. $2.90. Did touch as much as $3.30. Now into $3. Boutique Bell's the favourite. $6.50. Capricus Ruler. Opened at 11. Now into $6.50.
Can I do a Tom on you there?
Yeah, I don't know. What's that word?
Capricious.
Okay. Yep, that's what I said. $8.50 into $6.50. Pony Hup. That's the Geraldton accent. $7.50 out to $8. Rising Fame. $8 out to 11. None of Your Business, and $9 out to 11. Varisha, double figures. The remainder, 1,200 metre maiden. Boutique Bell, the favourite, drawn a little bit sticky. $3. Macca, which way are we going?
Well, Capricious Ruler's having its first run there, and she's a sister to Lord Gannicus that Elio Galanti, of course, races. And I'm just wondering what the views are of Diggs and Scotty in regards to the form through that barrier trial. They're having run third behind Nickiana, who went to Northern and got the job done on debut in its maiden. But I thought it was more the way that it finished off the trial. I thought there was something there. I think it's one definitely to follow, and quite clearly the debutante who sits at the top of the market there, this well-related filly by Piero and Boutique Bell, again, thinking that she trialled well, but as I said at the top of the program, what do they beat? The horse that ran second in the trial went around at $61 at Northern and finished unplaced. The third horse who came out of that trial was beaten a long way in a subsequent trial. You know the horse has got ability.
And it was horribly slow.
Yeah, exactly. And you start looking at the time, 59.81, as opposed to on the same day, Capricious Ruler went 58.12. 9-10 lengths faster getting home. And that's the reason I've gone for Capricious Ruler.
Okay.
The 7. I think it can beat 13, Boutique Belle. None of Your Business, I thought would improve coming out of the Moonwalk run. I thought the last part of its first up run was solid. And I'll include Danny Morton's Varisha, who did get out the back. That was in that Cinque Stella trial, but gee, it finished off very well. It was a typical Dan Morton prepared horse trial, getting home inconspicuously behind them. And I thought that Varisha might go very well. There is money for it.
Last preparation, you were throwing out Pony Up pretty much every time she went to the races, and now No Love in a Maiden.
Geez, I'll tell you what, I must have dementia. I can't remember tipping Pony Up too many times, Scotty. I think you've thrown a curveball in there, buddy.
Hey.
Trying to get me off guard, eh?
Oh, we're not fighting.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're just having a difference of views and my memory, which is obviously no good. But I'll tell you something about Pony Up. You're right. It's got some decent form behind it, behind some very good 3-year-olds who we go to the Belgravia on the weekend.
Well, that's the thing for me. The run 4 starts ago finished 2.5 off King of Light, who will almost certainly open up favourite ahead of Talk & Co. in the Belgravia on the weekend. Then finished a length off Zoo Run. She's also going to a Belgravia and carried 57 kilos that day. And then she finished her campaign where she took off at the sort of 6 to 800 and tried to sustain a run around them, beaten 2.5 My Authoritar, and the runner-up was Country God. So, in fact, the last 4 or 3 races she's been in, King of Light, Zoo Run, My Authoritar, Country God, all 4 of them go to the Belgravia.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now, Scotty. I think I might have tipped it a few. I might change my selections.
And she's now all of a sudden first up into a maiden. She comes through that Tennessee Spirit, Baby Pearl, Castle Road, Jump Out. She can hold up close handy in a race with a lot of back markers. I thought she was value here, Pony Up. A lot of it's disappeared. She's now 850 out to 10 into 650. But I'm going to roll the dice with her. So 11 Pony Up, 13 Boutique Belle, visually really good. Query's the same as Mac at the time and the who was around her that day. 7 Capricious Ruler finishes off strongly, and 15 Varisha. So all very similar, but I'm going to go with Pony Up. 11, 13, 7, 15.
And with the regularly bred debutante Boutique Belle, I like the way that she moved in the trial. Yes, it wasn't a quick time, but I think there's some upside there. So 13 on top from 11, Pony Up for the reasons outlined. 3 Rising Fame, genuine excuses back there in early September, has since trialled. Barrier 4 should get a better run today, and 12, None of Your Business. It was a decent enough effort the other day. 13, 11, 3 and 12.
For Digby in race 3, Macca with 7, 13, 12 and 15, and Scott with 11, 13, 7 and 15, race number 3 at Belmont.
You're listening to the midweek preview for Morley Mitsubishi. Drive away the Triton GLX 4x4 dual cab for $45,990 today. Go to Morley Mitsubishi, 212 Walter Road, Morley, or morleymitsubishi.com.au.
Big thank you to the team at Morley Mitsubishi for sponsoring the Wednesday midweek preview. Of course, they do the same on Saturday's inside running. We're up to race number 4 there at Belmont. It's over the 1,400 metres. A maiden, scratch 6, 14, 19 and 20. The favourite at $2.10 in from $2.90, Streamlined. $4.80, Gravity Defying. $5, Mass Mallow. $10 About Spellborn. Mr. Frodo at 19. So the well-supported favourite. Gravity Defying also $7 into $4.80, but as mentioned, there are a couple of scratchings in the race. Diggers, race number 4. How do we go?
Well, again, we're staring down the barrel here of a Peter's Investment debutante. Scotty, if you're a little bit ho-hum about the trial of Boutique Belle, what did you make of this one?
Don't get me wrong, I'm not ho-hum about the trial of Boutique Belle. I thought she trialled well. I just thought there was more value in Pony Up. But I think for Streamlined, I love the trial. I really like the trial.
The second of them was really good.
When the shades have been on, it looks like he's just screaming out for ground. He's only getting warm late. And I like the way that Clint Johnston Porter rode him in that trial, just to really make him attack the line and hit top gear.
It's like when you compare the 2 trials, the previous one without the blinkers, he just hacked through the line and just was working it all out from face value at least. And yet as soon as the shades go on, there's more game time. There's more, let's go. We're ready to roll. Finished off the trial really strongly. And I thought that it suggested that 1,400 metres was going to be absolutely no issue whatsoever?
I think there's a legitimate chance that both Streamlined here today and then Westbound tomorrow up at Geraldton both win and both go to the Faritha at their next start. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, we've now got sort of Bob's in the game with the 3-year-olds.
Seems to be the case, doesn't it? Can you build a case here for a horse who's got the benefit of fitness and didn't have any luck at all last start when it was going to run to the Masmello? Drawn a bit of a sticky gate here. In the market, on the 7 days, 15 back to 14, was going up near the fence and then all of a sudden just crashed straight into a brick wall. And any momentum that it was building was gone, and then it was trying to pick up and get going again. I thought there was something there to like about that performance, and indeed the first up run to the talented linchpin.
And add into the mix Hoya Destroyer, Vexatious Rose, Miss Verve. It's a good winner-producing race. I think she's going super. I feel for Luke Campbell because it's almost a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you go out and park 3 and 4 deep, you cover ground, or if you go back to the inside and ride for a bit of luck, sometimes you don't get it. It's a sticky ride, I thought, for Masmello again, but going really well. What about the trial of Gravity Defying?
Yes, good trial.
I thought it was really good.
Yep.
Just the way that he cut back towards the inside. If you watch nothing more than his last 75, that's when he really starts to pick up.
Yeah, sort of settled up their third rail and getting through. Nice trial. I liked it.
So I'm going to go 13. I'm going to go Streamlined. I'm going to go the debutantes here. I'm going to go 13 Streamlined from 12 Gravity Defying. 11 Spellborn, who was pretty luckless in the race behind Peace for Ruler on debut at Northam, just couldn't get going when he needed to. And 16 Masmello, so 3-year-olds win or Scott loses. 13, 12, 11, 16.
13, 16, 12 and 5 for me. Quite keen here. Streamlined on top from Masmello. Going really well. Just needs an ounce of luck. 12, Gravity Defying for the reasons that we've touched on. And 5, Mr. Frodo. I thought the recent effort at Bunbury was sound enough behind Social Affair, who was in the market. I know didn't go according to the market expectations last week, but he's better than that. 13, 16, 12 and 5.
I've got great respect for Streamlined. Out of that mare, Diggs, who we do remember very fondly. Gee, she was a really good mare for Bob and Sandra Peters, wasn't she? Yep. Silver Stream, the Listia winner. She was in and amongst all of the top races for a fair while. But I do think that Masmello's benefit of fitness and being back at Belmont Park, where it absolutely attacked the line brilliantly first up, and then no luck at all at Ascot. We go back to Belmont Park today. The fit horse, 16, I'll play it. I don't know if the value's there. It's at $5. You'd want that, maybe more. 13 Streamlined, 12 Gravity Defying, Scotty, like you, coming through that trial, I concur, and 11 Spellborn also. So the same numbers, but they're just in a little bit of a different order, TC. 16, 13, 12 and 11.
That's for Macca. Scott's with 13, 12, 11 and 16, and Diggers is with 13, 16, 12 and 5. Race number 4 at Belmont. Race number 5, moving on, the Key Clean Handicap, the Class 1 over the 1,000 metres, all starting at this stage. Savage Dancer at 340, been very solid at that quote. Overdrive on the back of a very nice trial, has been backed in 550 to 370. Spicy Thang, $4. Order online, $8. $10 about Galway Shaw, 15 and upwards at the remainder of the field. Class 1 1,000 metre race. 1,000 metres barrier 11. She's going to have to go back, Scott, the favourite.
She went forward in her trial, but I agree with you. I think on race day, with the speed that's underneath, Spicy Fang, Sanctions, Mackwell Smart.
Even Overdrive.
There's plenty of them there. I think they'll have no choice but to go back here today on Savage Dancer. So I've got a lot of time for her. I think she's quite good, but I think at the same time she's going to have to be pretty sharp to zap them.
Really good at Bunbury on debut. It was an impressive turn of foot on soft ground there that she got through after Pike was able to work her to the middle of the course. I love the way that she hit the line. They put her straight out in the paddock there. That trial behind Elite Bow, of course, St James, who you found there on the weekend, first up out of the trial. In fact, it's been a very good trial because there were 2 previous winners that finished in behind them as well. Look, I think it's a great chance, but look, if horses could run up to what they can produce in trials from time to time, Overdrive is going to take a fair bit of beating. It was ultra impressive, Diggs.
Yes, and there's no knock here. Has to carry the 60, but you're right. The trial was good now. Comes back from a little bleed, so expecting...
So get it fresh. Get it nice and fresh, and she's a consistent mare, as you can see.
Yeah.
But she was held together like she had a choker hold on her going to the line.
Agree.
I thought that she was dynamite in the trial. If she can run to that, and that's the big question, if in inverted commas, then Overdrive will take a fair bit of beating, particularly at the 1,000 metres. Scotty, your numbers are very, very accurate there with the horses that struggle to go back and win over the 1,000. It's one of those distance races now at Belmont Park where you've got to try and find them in the first, 4 thereabouts normally on percentage. And I think Overdrive can lob there from barrier 3. So I think the point that you made there, the fact that she's a mare that's had a little bleed, they come back and they can go very well fresh in their campaign, and I'm rolling the dice and hoping that that is going to happen there with Overdrive. So I'm 3 from 8. Savage Dancer. Back to a Class 1 order online through the Elite Bow Run. First up, Pinjarra Maiden winner back there in the middle of the year. And 5 Sanctions. I thought maybe for some value. It'll ride the speed. Didn't have any blinkers on in the trial, which it led. So it makes the top 4.
3 for me as well, Overdrive, as costly as she was last prep. I just think she's right place, right time here today. She should be the first one that can attack those tiring leaders. From 8, Savage Dancer, I'm very wary of her. She may simply be a class above them, but we'll wait and see. At the price, I'm happy to just risk her today. 10, Spicy Thang. She's only got one trick, and that is she goes very fast.
I thought 56 might get hold of her today. She's not a big filly, Scotty.
Yeah, up 4.5 week to week is a struggle, especially considering that she will have to burn some petrol early to cross them from the outside as well. And 6 in Galway, Shaun, who was a dynamite debut winner and probably got out to a silly price considering how well she'd trialled across her career. 3, 8, 10, 6.
Gone searching for a little bit of value here, and on the quick spin order online, barrier 4, 60 kilos, so it does rise the 2, but comes back from a Class 3 to a Class 1 in the space of 7 days and was beaten 2 3/4 behind Elite Bow last week. Now, I think we all expect that Elite Bow is going to more than measure up on a weekend. So 2 each way from 6 Galway Shaw, 3 Overdrive, love the trial, and 8 Savage Dancer. I just thought that maybe this mare would settle rearward and would have too much work to do over the concluding stages. 2 each way from 6, 3 and 8.
That's for Diggers. Scott with 3, 8, 10 and 6. Macca, can you just repeat your numbers, please?
I've gone Overdrive as well. I'm 3 from 8, 2 and 5.
8, 2 and 5 behind at number 3 on top. All right, moving on to the next race, which is race number 6 on the program. Tab Touch, have you got the touch? Handicap, Class 1, 1,400 metres, no scratchings. 3.10, the favourite, Pure Obsession. 4.20, Shazar. 6.50, Grandad's Addiction. $7, Olaf the Snowman. $10, Rivercrest Magic. 15 and up the remainder of the field. Touched as much as 3.80, but into 3.10. Scott, your best of the day is number 2. Why is that?
I think it's just a nice race for him, TC. I've got a lot of horses here that I don't have a lot of fear about. Let's put it that way. It's probably the politically correct way of putting it. So far in his life, he's won well on debut. He's gone straight to a Saturday. He probably had a run at the end of last prep at a mile where he'd nearly had enough, but it was also an on-speed dominated event behind Maraschino. 2 trials in. The first one, he looked a little bit uncomfortable on that shifting trial track, and the second of them, he was in a 72-plus heat as only a 62 horse, so he was in the wrong trial and still finished within 3 lengths of rope them in. He didn't have his shades on either. First up run, he drew barrier 1, he tracked up in behind them in a Class 3, and he finished 2 lengths off Fast Harry. I'm a nearly captain of the Fast Harry fan club. He'll win again on Sunday. Pure Obsession back to a Class 1 in a very thin race. I thought he got his chance, and I thought the price was pretty fair, to be honest. He's still better than $3. So 2 for me, Pure Obsession. Mr. Webb's yard's going well. From 1, Grandad's Addiction. The first up victory was strong. Was it a bit fluky? It was 30s or 40 to 1. Beaten 2 1/4 in a Class 1 Pharaoh show, then went to that Saturday event behind Wembanyama and Lynchpin. Wembanyama wins again. Lynchpin's got a big expectation on his shoulders, back to the right setup.
As weird as this is to say, Scotty, the 9th of 11 probably is better than the 2 previous runs where he won and was placed. I thought his effort there was fantastic because he hunted a cracking pace. It was run well faster than average, 1:36 and change, and was there to the 100-metre mark.
He was tough. He certainly was.
And when Banyama's come out and won again?
Back to 1,400 metres, drawn to probably have a little sit run today in behind the speed. It looks a nice setup for him. 5, Shazare, lightly raced mare, trialled well, looks to have ability, but then after that I thought it dropped off considerably. I went down to 11, Rivercrest Magic, but she's run third at York. So that there's not a lot to work with, I didn't think, after the main couple in the market. 2, 1, 5 and 11, but happy to be with Pure Obsession today.
Darren?
1 for me, Grandad's Addiction. I think I might have telegrammed that because of the reasons. Drop in class, back in distance, as I say. And Jay Whiting back on board too. Jason's the regular there. He's been the only rider bar Holly last start and found herself in that vulnerable spot there, having to chase up that pacemaker that just wouldn't relent until it ran out of gas. And Grandad's Addiction was still there and then getting swamped in the last 100. So back to 14. I thought maybe at the price today there for Grandad's Addiction, $6.50. Take a little bit of that to beat 2, Pure Obsession. 11, Rivercrest Magic. No weight. Goes to 1,400. Only its second start for the stable. And albeit it was at York, but it came off the back of a nice run prior to that here at Belmont in the Fillies and Mares Class 1 when it got to the line strongly. Found the fence. I see that they've put the blinkers straight back on and they've removed the winkers. So with 51 kilos, not the worst of them. Could be a little, not a fluke, as hope it's not that long in the market. And then 5, Shazare. Will go from 1 to 11 and then to 5 in the pick 4.
2, 5, 8, 4 for me. Pure Obsession as well. Shazare, trial was good. Will be better over further, but 1,400 I thought was a good start point. I left the Snowman, shades on, going okay. And 4, Real Serenity. We had a good chat to Donga before. 2, 5, 8, 4. I think Pure Obsession awfully hard to beat.
2, 5, 8 and 4 for Diggers. Darren with 1, 2, 11 and 5, and Scott with 2, 1, 5 and 11 in race number 6. Race number 7 on the program, 1,200 metres, all starting. Delta Sun will be popular, opened at $1.95 out to $2.25, back into $1.95. Flagship at $4.80, Cryptic Joy at $7.50, De Grand Home at $8 and Golden Door at $14. Hard to tip around the favourite, Macca, I would have thought.
Yeah, exactly. Delta Sun, we see him line up for the second time this campaign. He went straight to the Max Simmons Classic. On return, he copped a lemon draw. He got posted deep, no cover there. As a result of that, they ran time, 57.73. He trialled up before then without any shades on. And I still thought that, he would take a lot of improvement from the trial. He'll take a lot of improvement out of the first up run. I think it gets down now, Diggs, Scotty, as to what price he'll be at the finish of betting. He's now into $1.95. He's firmed in from not much longer, around the 205 mark, I think he might have been. But you think that he's going to run deep in the red?
I think he'll get pretty short. I'm thinking somewhere around the 180 marker for Delta Sun by the time that they load them in. He makes sense, though. Placement-wise, he wouldn't have been completely out of place going to the 1,200 metres of the Belgravia on the weekend.
He's got a good race in him. I'm adamant of that.
Do you know what I really like? The fact it's at Belmont Park and he's a big wind-up horse. It's the first time he's been here. And I think that it's going to also probably add to his prospects today to win. So I think that he's a standout on the card. Delta Sun, pretty talented horse. You get horses like Flagship, consistent but don't win necessarily out of turn, back to a Class 3. I think in this grade, well suited there. It'll be one of those that you consider putting into the exotics. The win of De Grand Home, second up at Geraldton, was very good, and looks as though it might have, come back really well. This preparation looks a picture. And Golden Door, I don't think Lucy really did much on it in the barrier trial there, and that was to Scorpion Ruler. He's got some ability, this horse, as we know. Fast Harry ran third in the barrier trial, so that might be enough for me to include Golden Door into the pick 4 in this race. But 9, 4, 3, 1. I think the best horse, the horse with all the upside, there's Delta Sun.
Agree. 9, Delta Sun. I'm going to throw one in there at any old price, and that's Bow Talk off the back of the trial where he held off Astro World, who won first up. He was actually pretty stiff first up, 1,200 last preparation too, and he'll jump 40 to 1. So as an exotic player there, 9 from 7. 4 Flagship, Market loves him, I'm not convinced, and 8 Cryptic Joy, who had an excuse first up behind Surfside Session on a Saturday. 9, 7, 4 and 8.
Yeah, I thought Delta Sun awfully hard to beat today, TC. He goes on top from 8, Cryptic Joy, 3, De Grand Home, and 4, Flagship. 9, 8, 3 and 4.
For Diggers, Macca with 9, 4, 3 and 1 with an asterisk, and Scott with 9, 7, 4 and 8. The final event on the program, 8 races. Wisely Workwear Handicap, Class 3, fillies and mares this time, 1,200 metres. $4 about Estimarada. Riva Aquarama at $4.20, Divine Beautiful at $6.50, Silent Diva at $7.50, Cheryl Shout at $8.50, and Goldflakes heads the remainder at $13. A nice way to finish the day, Diggers.
It is indeed. And I touched on it before, we had a good chat to Shaun O'Donnell, and I thought he was every chance of saluting here in the final event on the day, albeit aboard a mare who has not won for 683 days. We talk about Fast Harry Scott. We like the horse. The recent runner-up placing behind that animal was sound enough from a mare who looks like she's just continuing to build.
She is, but I'll play a bit of devil's advocate here. My concern is that she might run into a couple of sharp fillies. Riva Aquarama, Estimarando, Silent Diva. They look like they've got upside, and not that she doesn't, but she's 1 from 14.
Correct.
And the other trio are very lightly raced and look like they're still improving.
Yeah, I think you'll get a good run for your money because she's back in the zone again, Define Beautiful. But whether or not she can beat these up-and-comers, Estimarando was awfully impressive at Northam, and then they just parked her up straight after that. Victory back on September 14. I think they've got a pretty high opinion of Estimarando, and good luck to our old mate Malcolm Gregory Brown. Diggs, who's a part owner of Estimarando, and he's very excited at this time of his life to have a share in a nice horse like her on the way through. And then Riva Aquarama, we'll get a good form reference from the 5th with Overdrive through the trial there, because I thought it was a really solid trial by this filly. She has come up with a sticky gait, though, for her return to racing, but she's got form on the board. I think they're the 3, anyway, at least, that can finish in the placings in the last.
Well, I mean, each way, Define Beautiful, she surely finishes top 4, and she just needs to be top 3, and then you're turning a sneaky profit on the places side, I suppose. But look, I'm off the back of what she produced on debut, I became a bit of a believer in Estimarando. I didn't see it coming. I didn't think her trials showed all that much, but she was really powerful down the outside at Northam. She's somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks between runs. We saw it last week with Fine Star, just freshen up those good ones and then beat the older horses. 13 Estimarando, 3 Riva Aquarama. I'd be surprised if both of them don't progress through to the Burgess Queen on Melbourne Cup Day. 9 Silent Diva. It looks as though they've been just searching around for the right setup for her. She's been nommed a few times and she finally now comes to the races.
It was a better trial the other day too.
Yes, much better. And 5 Define Beautiful, who's right back in the zone. 13, 3, 9, 5.
Yeah, same 4. 13, 3, 5, 9. Again, they, I think, will fight the finish of the last. Silent Diva's one so impressive on debut. It really captured the attention and then went into that run behind Rostislav on the straight 5 at Penny. And Rostislav did very well to run third behind Talk and Co and Luana Miss in the race the other day, the Max Simmons. So, you know, that's not the worst, and I think that the second of those trials suggests that maybe she's ready to turn the corner again. 13, 3, 5 and 9. Not that she has to turn too many corners.
5 each way, Define Beautiful from 3, Riva Aquarama. Good to see her back at the races. I think she's well above average. 2, Invincible Ruby. I was with this mare first up on a Saturday. That was opening day. Settled rearward. The way that race was run, never any chance of playing a part. Still was only beaten 3.5 behind Surfside Session. Hopefully, with that 57 kilos today and a better gate, she can settle a pair or two closer. And 13, Estimarando. 5 each way from 3, 2 and 13.
That's for Diggers. Macca with 13, 3, 5 and 9, and Scott with 13, 3, 9 and 5. Anything to add to your best bet, Scott?
No, just race 6, number 2, Pure Obsession for me.
All right, race 7, number 9 for you, Macca.
Hopefully it doesn't get too short. Race 7, 9, Delta Sun, my best for the day. Each way, 2 all day. Race 2, number 8, Refemno Angel at nearly $10.
All right, so that will be the play of the day?
The play for the day for me is going to be race 5, number 3, Overdrive, and then roll it up into race 1, Grandad's prediction. I think there's a little bit of value there we can build into it. So, and my lay for the day, only because of the bad barrier, race 2, number 9. And I've tipped Reef and No Angel, and that's Our Girl Can Run at the 270 or thereabouts. I thought that she could be vulnerable from that draw.
Okay, play, Scott.
Race 4, number 13, Streamlined, number 12, Gravity Defying, to run the Quinella.
Right, lay.
Race 6, number 5, Shazare.
All right, enjoy your day.
Check the price about Tennessee Spirit in the first 2, TC.
What price is it now?
Madness, 180.
All right, kick off the day with a bang. Enjoy. We'll be back shortly on the Sports
mate.
Daily.